3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The idea about eating a bowl of Skyline chili, pie eating contest style with like your hands behind your back, that is just going to be an awful look. And that's going to live on the internet for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'm kind of hoping I lose. And you know when a baby eats spaghetti and the spaghetti sauce gets all over it? I'm just picturing that.
Kids just like eat naked mostly for like the first several years of their life.
I have all these pictures of my two girls when they were young. It looks like they were just like bleeding from everywhere. It was just tomato sauce over their entire upper half.
It looks like a horror show.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Oh, Perloff's feeling very nervous about the NFC after we saw what the Lions did last night in Lambeau. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Got a big football weekend to set up for everybody throughout today's show. It'll be our last show in this time slot.
Yep.
We are moving to mornings starting on Monday, but we'll have more info on that in just a little bit. What you saw from the Lions is a scary team.
No.
A scary team that believes they can win a Super Bowl.
So I have already convinced myself that the Eagles are going to beat the 49ers because the Niners will get hurt. They always do. The Cowboys showed their flaws last week. Now I got to deal with the Detroit Lions, Maggie. The Detroit Lions, who've won one playoff game in 66 years. All of a sudden, they have the best offensive line. They have a superstar in Aiden Hutchinson. They have a superstar tight end in Sam Laporta. And Jared Goff looks like an MVP. This is not good. And I am sorry, they're going to storm through that NFC North and could even get home field.
You know what's, I think, scary about the Lions? As I said, they believe they can win. right? I think that's the biggest part when you're dealing with franchises who have these woebegone histories, right? Like when you talk about teams like the Jets and the Vikings and my Buffalo Bills and the Lions, right? This feels like they've completely exercised all of that loser energy, all that negativity, the things that pop up to bite the Cleveland Browns. We all know who the snake-bitten franchises are. They feel like they've put that all behind them. No one is even thinking about it. That's number one. It makes them dangerous. Number two, they have all the makings of a good team. Lines that are good, offensive and defensive, that they've been building while they've been getting these high draft picks. Their weapons are really good and multiple. And I'll have to admit it, I got to give credit to Goff. When he was on Hard Knocks and didn't know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, I was out on this guy. I'm like, you have to know where the sun sets. That's got to be a given. Apparently it doesn't. The guy is throwing dimes out there, and they took advantage of a Green Bay team that was standing in their own way last night for a lot of different reasons, very banged up, and they put their thumb right on the Green Bay Packers.
The real thing that scares me is a run game with David Montgomery, who I've been disappointed in fantasy-wise many, many years now. He averages about 4 yards a carry, but they're so physical, and that's really, I think, the key to the NFC. The Eagles will run all over you. The Niners will run all over you.
Yep.
The Cowboys don't look like they're ready to run all over you, which is why I maybe put them third right now. But the Lions, when Green Bay came back in the second half, made it 27-17, they just put the hammer down on the run game, and I think that's going to be the key for them to get a really gaudy record and be dangerous. That's that to neutralize Micah Parsons, to neutralize all those pass rushers in Philly.
Yep.
You got to control the clock, and I think Detroit and Dan Campbell can do that.
And I think that they're built for whatever weather. I know they play indoors, so if they get home games, it's going to be fine. But if you do have to play bad weather in Philadelphia, that's something I don't even think would be a second thought.
Well,
I do not.
I don't know about that. Did you see they've those funny graphics on Amazon Thursday night? Jared Goff's been terrible on the road since he got to Detroit. That's why last night was a little surprising.
But what you're saying about the run game.
Yeah, but it was nice last night. Yeah, the run game. But if you know that all they have is I don't think Detroit wants a bad weather game.
Listen, this is all he's doing, really. When you're finding Laporta, the tight end, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, like when those are your two biggest weapons in terms of the pass game, you're not being asked to be, you're not throwing 40 yards down the field for those guys. For Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's all over in the middle of the field, everything, and your tight end's your tight end.
Well, Goff, the one thing we know he can do is throw a 40-yard ball.
He doesn't have to do that.
As well as anyone. But, yeah, that's true. I think he can do that if he's protected. The key is you got to protect Jared Goff. He's not going to be, Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson running around. Laporta is interesting. I heard Adam Schefter's podcast this week. Don't ask me why I was listening to it. It's not exactly the most exciting podcast.
Okay.
But he's
shots fired at Schefter.
No, I like Adam a lot, actually. Anyway, he started out the podcast
a snooze fest.
with the most. No, because he interviews somebody, but he starts off with 2 points about last week's play. And the most bizarre thing, he started out with, he goes, people around the league are telling me Sam Laporta is the most exciting rookie to come into the league. I'm like, what? Is that true? The tight end for the Lions? Last night, two plays in, boom. And he can block, too. Taylor Decker is mauling up there. Yeah, so what do you think, Maggie? Should I be nervous? Because I got to think this out. When I look at my Eagles in the NFC picture, who do I have to focus on and really root against?
You want me to tell you what you should be worried about 3.5 months before you have to worry about it? Yes, you should be worried about the Lions. I think this is an absolutely real thing. The Packers are not ready to win right now. Last night they're banged up on the offensive line. They've just got issues. And Jordan Love, I don't even know how you really evaluate him last night. Yeah. He didn't have actually, that's not true. There were moments when he did have time to make a play and couldn't do it. I almost wanted to get him off the hook for the first interception because it got tipped up in the air, but he basically threw it right to the middle linebacker. I don't know if I can take him off the hook for that one.
There was not a single play in the first half where he had time and to miss something. There was not a single play where he was pressured every single time he passed.
He had hands in his face at all times. I did see, there were a couple plays here and there where he did have time, but then those are more coverage sacks where guys were being covered down the field. This is just going to be very much work in progress. Actually, last night, Matt LaFleur, Stu, if we can hear from the Packers head coach, getting a little testy at reporters after the game.
What do you think happens when you have to cause a first half like that where you got nothing?
We suck, Pete. We got our ass kicked. If I knew, it wouldn't have happened.
Matt, they didn't blitz until the
That's a
last.
BS question, man.
Why couldn't you guys protect, do you think?
It wasn't good enough. They whipped us. They manhandled us. Again, if I knew the answer to that, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, not a BS question. It was BS what you put on the field in the first half. And that's what is BS. To take it out on reporters, you got to be better than that. You get it handed to you. There was nothing controversial unless you want to talk about the Quay Walker jumping over the line on the field goal, which they go to commercial break. Everyone at home, all of us think, hey, they just scored a field goal. Maybe the Packers can get back in this thing, come back from commercial break, realize that Quay Walker's jumped over the line, gives the Lions fresh set of downs. They end up scoring a touchdown. That made it a 3-score game and put it out of reach. Maybe you can talk about that, but for LaFleur to get testy with a reporter afterwards, you got to be better than that if you're the head coach. You just got to take it.
Question.
Yeah, BS question. What are you, Bryce Harper?
Yeah, it's funny. Matt
Clown question. Bro.
That's a BS question.
Oh, I love clown question, bro. Is one of the great lines.
It is great
Baseball
line.
locker room. If LaFleur had as much charisma there, but I hate to say it. What is Matt LaFleur without Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah,
that is a big question. Although I think Love has had his moments. It really helped when Detroit stopped rushing him in the second half. They're like, all right, we're going to go to prevent. Just don't score too fast. Quay Walker is an interesting cat. Because remember, last year he got ejected for pushing a member of the Lions medical staff.
Yep.
And I remember
that week 18.
LaFleur actually comforted him after I think he was crying. Walker was. And LaFleur, they showed the camera, he was not happy last night. He went over. Quay Walker ruined the field goal by jumping over the line and hitting the lineman. And then LaFleur was chewing him out on the sideline. Quay Walker is probably, the funny thing is, it was his glow night. He became the star in number 7. He was tackling everybody. He looked strong.
He had 19 tackles last night. 10 of them were solo tackles.
Yeah, he might be the best player on that defense, but he sure seems interesting. Like, something's always happening with him.
Yeah, and LaFleur afterwards was like, no, it's our fault because we've got to make sure he knows the rules better, and tried to protect him a little bit there. But, terrible mistake that ended up costing them. I don't know if they would have come back anyway. The Lions always felt in control of that game outside of that one nice Jordan Love and Packers drive where they got the touchdown and got the 2-point conversion. But beyond that, it was all Lions. Yes.
Did you notice Aaron Jones, the running back for the Packers? Have you ever seen a tackling dummy like that? He got flipped upside down. He got hit in the head. He got hit everywhere. Their run game got nowhere. Even though Aaron Jones was questionable all week, came back. I'm a little bit worried about that offensive line. Just got no push on run and didn't protect it all. So it seems like the NFC North is kind of done. Because Minnesota's 0-3. The Bears are one of the worst teams in the league. And it doesn't look like that Packers team is close right now to the Lions.
Okay, so I think the poll question today is, are the Lions a Super Bowl contender? Because Perloff is nervous.
No, I still think the Eagles can beat them if it's in Philly. I also think San Francisco is a real problem. And I think Dallas is a problem. I think the NFC is better than people thought coming in. Remember that?
Top heavy, but good.
Yeah. Remember that storyline that, I don't know, the bottom of the AFC is not that great either. The AFC South is.
Well, I think still a lot more to be determined. I think we kind of know the good teams and the bad teams in the NFC. I think the AFC, there's still a little wiggle room there. Like, are the Jags actually good or bad? We're not really sure about that. What's going on with Pittsburgh? What's going on with Cleveland now with some updates for Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, but the Commanders beat the Denver Broncos. That's all. So I think the bottom of the AFC.
The real bottom is bad.
Yeah, I think. But
I thought you meant the fringe playoff team.
Well, I think the AFC South is still the worst division. Even as bad as the NFC South is, I think the AFC South is awful. Well, we'll see. Maybe your Jags come back this week.
To the bottom.
But anyway, I do think that the Lions are definitely in that mix in the NFC. Here's how I'm hoping it plays out. I hope they draw San Francisco early on. San Francisco and the Lions beat each other up so badly that they limp into the link back to the Super Bowl. That's the plan, Maggie.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch the show. Jeffrey Howell's in the chat and been a longtime contributor to the chat. He said, my heart has been broken by more radio shows than it has been broken by women. Only good thing is that radio shows don't take your stuff. But here's the thing, Jeffrey, we are not breaking your heart. All we're doing is we're just moving to the morning show. You can come along with us. We're great to wake up with, I think. I'm pretty sure we're going to be fun in the morning. We're going to be doing the same thing in the morning. Same chat. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can find us. We'll still be on the free Odyssey app. We're still going to be on Sirius XM channel 158, and we're still going to be on all of our amazing CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We're just going to be on more of them, which is great.
I wish I could have a camera on you Sunday night. You're gonna be so uptight about this.
Just like laying in bed, not sleeping, looking at the clock.
You're definitely pulling an all-nighter. You might as well come in Sunday night and watch the Sunday night game here.
I thought about sleeping here.
Yeah, you have no chance of sleeping.
Boomer Esiason does have a couch in his office. He's got the big office around here. Obviously, your former MVP of the league, they give you the corner office. So, although Tiki's office is pretty big also. The former players get really big offices around here. We get it. I think there's a couch in Boomer Esiason's office. Maybe I could sleep in there. He locks his door, though, so I have to pick the lock.
I don't know if you want to start day one getting on Boomer's bad side, because
Yeah,
he'll definitely come in and see you asleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's plenty of room here. Just put some pillows down.
It's right here in the studio. It's too bright.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Too many right angles here.
I definitely think you should put a couch in your office.
Yeah.
So that when Stu and I get tired, we can sleep in there when you're not around.
Oh, yes. Afternoon naps for you, too. How
afternoon
tough
naps.
that's going to be.
Yeah, with my binky and my animal crackers.
Yeah, clean up those crumbs. No, Samter and Stu are going to be staying here in the afternoon. We're going to be moving to the morning, and we're going to miss them dearly. But we have a lot of fun to have today. And again, we're not going anywhere, really. Just
no,
earlier.
We'll be right here. We'll be earlier. We'll be awake. Yeah, I think the format's going to be very similar. The senses of humor are going to be the same. I'm still an Eagles fan. You're still a Bills fan. I do think, by the way, you're going to be overcome by whatever happens on Sunday in the Dolphins-Bills game, because you're making, like all Bills games, making it a bigger thing than it actually is.
Yes.
So I think you're going to be so distracted by the outcome of that game that you're not even going to notice, and you're just going to start yelling into the mic, which will be a lot of fun.
Yes, well, I have the board behind me. Days since I've had a Buffalo Bills meltdown. We're up to 20. So
How many touchdowns do you think the Bills are going to lose by this week? Do you... 3,
Why?
4?
Well, how would they do that?
No. I'm just saying you're like, there's like 5 injured Dolphins players and you don't even care. You're like, oh my gosh, Poyer's out. We're dead. We're going to lose. They're going to run all over us. This is the greatest show on turf.
A little concerned. Concerned about the run game. It's not the greatest show on turf. It's the greatest show on surf. Who coined that? Somebody deserves credit.
I don't like it. Greatest show on surf would be California.
You can't. It doesn't have to be that literal. There's also beaches in Miami. People surf in Miami.
Really? People surf in Miami?
Of course they do. More jet ski.
But
I think also surf.
When that Beach Boys song, Surfing USA, came out, were you confused? Is that L.A. or
it was
Fort
about
Lauderdale?
Pompano Beach, Florida. It was a different cut. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227 is about Delray Beach, Florida. The Beach Boys. Okay. Lots to do. Glad you're along with us on this Friday. Again, tons and tons of football. The poll question today, do the Lions look like a Super Bowl contender? All right. Here's a question we have to get to the bottom of next. It has to do with a certain show bet. It has to do with the Oregon Ducks playing into the show bet. And we have to make a decision, and we've got to do it fast. 855-212-4CBS. Get on the horn. Talk to us. We'll be back in a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. All right, it is a rainy Friday here. But, Maggie, you have to pay up on a bet.
Yeah, I have a question about this, and I'd like to put it out to the audience. So we're on all over the country, but just take our word for it. It is like flooding in New York where we are today. It's this biblical rain. So I'm supposed to pay off the bet of ordering Peking duck for everyone. But here's my question. It is raining so hard out there. Is it messed up to order takeout and have a delivery person have to bring it in this terrible weather? Or is it messed up not to order it because it's that person's job and livelihood and they probably, work on tips? I'm always so conflicted about this. Do you order takeout when the weather is this bad?
It's a great question. So I think the people who deliver takeout want the orders because they're there to make money,
Right?
Presumably off tips. And I know you're a great tipper. I think they want that money, so they want you to order.
And you got to tip extra, of course, when the weather is this awful. So
also, there's a little bit of a lull for now. So I don't know how bad. First of all, it's nothing here in the city where we are. You should see my house.
Yeah, it's
my
like
house
literally
is underwater.
You might see this on social media. It's probably going to make its rounds on the evening news and stuff. Like literally cars underwater in the middle of New York City. It's weird.
Perloff doing the backstroke on his way home.
Yeah, honestly, it almost came to that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the totals. There's 6.7 inches in my county.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's the most. It's the most since 1948.
That's over my head.
I told Maggie this morning.
It is. Remember when we shoved Samter in the box?
I told Maggie this morning.
The box that the dummy came in? That sounded weird. I'm sorry. Anyway, we put Samter in a cardboard box.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And then we pushed it over. Yes.
I said this morning to you, I said to Maggie, I think this is worse rain than Hurricane Sandy in 2011. And you must have thought I sounded crazy, but this is way more rain.
Yeah.
The river has held, which is interesting, but
okay,
and
so
it's not
I should
over.
order.
You should order. Well, by the way, my stomach is
Okay.
dictating my logic here.
I'll order. It'll be here next Wednesday.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it unfair?
Is it unfair to
Because
the
we'll
delivery
happily
person?
order you Peking duck next week.
So normally I would kind of waffle, but if you see the get-ups that some of these delivery guys have,
Yeah.
they're on their bikes. They have like these crazy tarps. Their hands are covered. Like they are just like head to toe. I'm out there walking my dog soaked from head to toe. They're just completely like, it's like a tank.
Yeah.
They're like a tank driving through the city. They're fine. They got these little motorized bikes. They're good to go.
Okay. So we're doing it. All right. Peking duck's going to be on the way. Also, we have a lot of football to get to, although Perloff had a question.
So last night was frustrating.
Why?
Packers-Lions, really excited for this game. And by the time I realized the Lions are blowing them out, and I could switch over to the Golden Bachelor to check it out, it was too late. There was only 5 minutes left. The Lions already jumped to a big lead. I turned over, and all I saw was the rose ceremony. The Golden Bachelor featuring Gary, who is 72 years old. It's like The Bachelor, but just older people. It is utterly fascinating. Stu, did you get to watch it?
Stu sent us a text of his setup, which was double TVs,
Yes.
one with The Bachelor and one with the game on. Just
Perfect for nights like last night.
Just God mode, Stu. Way to go.
I'm going to be honest. I found it a little depressing. The rose ceremony.
Oh, I thought you meant the double TVs.
No, that was encouraging.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was something very sad. These were particularly sad rose ceremonies, and I've sat through some sad rose ceremonies in my Bachelor fandom days. Actually, my wife's.
How about Jimmy Kimmel's aunt falling asleep during the rose ceremony?
That was Jimmy Kimmel's aunt?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. So I tuned in too late. There was a woman who was passed out. What do you mean that's Jimmy Kimmel's aunt?
That's his aunt. She was a contestant for
and she
one
fell
show.
asleep?
Yes,
Or she was
during the
passed
rose
out?
ceremony.
You know, they give them a lot of wine,
There were drinks, yes.
generally.
And are many of them widows?
Some were widows. I think probably a good amount of them were, and then some were just some that haven't found love yet.
Okay, I've got a theory.
Yeah, I'm dying to know this.
I didn't watch 1 second of this, as you guys know, because no shot. I did not watch 1 second of The Golden Bachelor. I know exactly who he's going to pick. The youngest looking woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's given.
It's obvious, guys.
That's not a theory. That's an obvious fact.
Okay, so all we're going to do is just reinforce here. It's like we're doing this with older people, and he's going to pick the youngest looking older person in whoever of the contestants.
That's the way
I
the
can
Bachelor
fast forward this all the way to the end.
My wife and I can pick who the Bachelor is going to pick day one. It's 100% of the time the hottest woman
It's
there.
always the prettiest.
And it's always, in the same way when it's a Bachelorette, it's always the best looking guy.
Yeah, but see, best looking guy, it's like beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Not really.
I think so.
Really? Oh my gosh. Maybe other guys no. I could tell you, I could look at one. You're right. They don't necessarily pick the best looking guy. They want like the fourth best looking guy. Because the best looking guy is a little too dangerous.
Well, it's also like picking the most expensive wine at the restaurant. It's like, I don't want the most expensive. I don't know if I want the second most expensive.
No, you get the second cheapest and you try and fool people and it never works. But I think that you want some safety. Like you don't want the super hot guy. If you ever imagine yourself in this show, probably not. No,
No, I wouldn't last 1 second on this show.
But I think
I'm too honest.
every man has a dream of being wooed by 32 women or whatever.
Yeah, it's the
that'd be
opposite
awesome.
for women. I don't want the idea of 20 guys just like being up in my space. No, thank you.
I wouldn't do it. If they offered me The Bachelor back when I was single, I would not do it. There's way too much shirtless time. You have to dance on national TV. There's a lot of downside to being The Bachelor. I mean, would you guys have wanted to be The Bachelor?
Absolutely. I mean,
You're
my terrible
shirtless a
dancing
lot,
and
Mike.
awful look with my shirt off is not a deterrent for 30 women jumping at me.
Listen, Samter, you only got 30 years till you could be the Golden Bachelor.
I mean, let's hope in 30 years I don't have to worry about that.
No, put your application in now, just in case.
Did you see the...
And I'm definitely going to be picking Jimmy Kimmel's aunt.
She'll still be there. Asleep.
Sleeping on the couch.
It's funny.
They left her there.
I saw the woman asleep on the couch, and I said to myself, I don't know, 72 years old, a few glasses of wine, I might go there. But the funny thing about The Golden Bachelor was they teased the next part of the season in the last 5 minutes of the show, and he's sitting there crying his eyes out. He goes, "The day I lost my wife was the saddest day of my life, and this is the second." I'm like, what are you talking about? This is supposed to be a fun show. This sounds like the saddest Bachelor of all time. Gary is, and what'd you think, Stu? Is Gary okay? Was he a good Bachelor?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's very handsome. He's very charismatic. He said a few things at the end that I was like, geez, wish I had that kind of charisma that he has. But yeah,
the Riz.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun. I think it'll be a fun season.
I love that we're wrestling control away from sports, away from Maggie, who's
all I want to do.
Oh, you're like, I have not watched a second of the Golden Bachelor. Like,
we
get out of here.
We have the Daily Dion to get to, guys. Why do I have to be the person to get the show back on the rails?
That's even less sportsy than the Golden Bachelor.
Well, I'll get things back onto sports. So I was watching Dancing with the Stars last night with my wife. On the court. Adrian Peterson was in it.
How'd he do?
Terrible.
No.
Right? I know Emmett won it, and Jerry Rice was good, and Calvin Johnson was it. Adrian, I thought was going to be fantastic. He was awful.
He had that upright running style. That's like me.
He was very stiff.
We both can't dance.
Tyson Beckford, too, was also very stiff.
Tyson Beckford could not dance?
Awful.
Handsome,
he was one of the worst. He almost got kicked off the first
Wow. Man, when did you squeeze that show in?
Yeah. How did you get Golden Bachelor and Dancing with the Stars and Lions Packers?
Who said I got all three? I just got Dance with the Stars. Football is on my phone, and Golden Bachelor is not to be had.
You know what? When I watch football, I am always obsessed with the Masked Singer commercials. I've never seen Masked Singer, though, but I'm dying to know what's going on here. You guys into it?
No.
Don't judge.
I feel like the show sucks. You just want to know who's behind the mask.
Desperately.
I
Like,
would
that's the whole show.
Fast forward for the first 57 minutes and then to see who they unveil, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, well, tying it back into sports, the one time I did watch The Masked Singer and went through this whole thing, they take off the mask and it was Mark Sanchez. I'm like, what the hell?
Ooh, that's a
Again,
good one.
former Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez
Wasn't
and
there a
USC.
conspiracy theory that Tom Brady was one of the guys one year, and everyone was like betting that it was Brady, and it
Yes.
just wasn't?
No, that was a post-retirement rumor that he was going to be.
It was a
Meanwhile,
football player. Was it Sanchez? Was that the same one?
Sanchez was on it. But meanwhile, did you guys see there's going to be a biopic about Brady, scripted. So it's going to be his life with the Patriots. And apparently they're going to incorporate all the Aaron Hernandez stuff and some of the like more real elements of what was
So
going
who's
on.
playing Tom Brady?
Spygate. They haven't
Ryan
said
Gosling,
yet.
maybe? But that movie
Yes.
sounds beyond
Gosling, can he play Brady?
Yeah.
He could play anybody. He really could play Jared Goff. But that, by the way, that sounds like the worst movie ever made, and it will be beyond terrible. Let's get back to reality shows. Anybody see Love Is Blind on Netflix?
No, we're not doing this. We're not going down the list.
Wait, so what reality shows do you like? You must like some. Don't pretend that you're above all this.
I'm not above it. I don't watch them anymore.
Really?
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you're missing out. It's 90 Day Fiance.
You've been
90 Day
beating
Fiancé.
that drum since the first day we met.
Listen, you're going to be up very early in the mornings. Watch 90 Day Fiance, you'll go right to sleep.
I don't think we're going to need trouble getting to sleep. It's the waking up.
My 13-year-old comes home the other day. She goes, Dad, we have to watch Wife Swap. Does anyone remember that show?
Yes.
She said, I saw an episode on TikTok, and it's fascinating. So we watch Wife Swap on Hulu. It's not what you think it is.
The only thing I remember is Dave Chappelle's show completely clowning that wife
Yeah.
swap. Yeah.
There's no wife swapping. It is the most cringeworthy show of all time. Maggie, we got to get you on the reality TV show.
I was
train.
on a reality show.
No.
Wait, I think
I was on one episode of one reality show.
what was it? Was it Average Joe?
No. My mom is the coupon queen.
Oh, yes.
And so we were on extreme couponing as a family. And I randomly was searching through TikTok and I found like a 12 million view video of our family doing the show.
Did you know this about Samter's mom?
No, I didn't know that.
Samter told me about this when where were we, at the Final Four?
I think so.
Yeah, and I learned that Samter's mom was the coupon queen.
Yes. Yeah. She's been on shows with like Regis and Oprah back in like the 70s and 80s. Yeah.
What does that mean?
So she's the queen of coupons. So she had like a magazine about coupons. She's written multiple books about couponing. And then what she'll do is she would go on all these shows and go shopping, kind of like what extreme couponing is now.
Right.
But she was doing this in the 80s.
And show people how to save money.
Yeah, and she would like buy $400 worth of groceries, and her bill would be $17 at the end of it. And she'd have this long receipt, and Regis would be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that." It was very fun.
I just Googled, by the way, the queen of coupons, and something very different came up.
No, it got to go the coupon queen.
This is about a woman who used a fake website to sell consumers fraudulent coupons at a deeply discounted rate and got
Well,
arrested.
we didn't mention that Samter's mom is
Yeah.
in Rikers right now. But we left
say.
that part out. She's in Leavenworth for the next
Okay, but
15 to 20.
She was at. Did you say she was on Oprah?
She wasn't on Oprah. She was on a show that Oprah. It was called People Are Talking.
Oh.
This is when Oprah was first starting out. But she was on Maury Povich. She was on Sally Jesse Raphael.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine going on Maury and it's like not for some kind of paternity test.
Yeah, no, so she went on there to show him how to save money on Crest, and instead she found out that I'm not actually her son.
Yeah, exactly. And then they brought your dad out there and they were
It was
like,
very awkward. Very
who's the
awkward.
dad?
Oh my gosh. You're right. Now that she's famous, dude.
Yeah. Samter's mom is like a really big deal.
Samter's mom has got it going on.
Yeah, I was
about
about
that?
to say. I mean, if Gary got a hold of, I don't know if she's happily married still. But
No, we know Samter's dad.
She would definitely be asleep on the couch though after a glass of wine or two if she was on the Golden Bachelor. She would absolutely be right there.
Wouldn't we all? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We had so many different things planned for that segment.
thank God we didn't get to any of those because this is the important stuff. I think there's a gigantic crossover between Bachelor and NFL, and we're going to see it this Sunday night. I think that the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing is basically a convergence of the Bachelor world
Yeah.
and the NFL world, and everyone is there for it.
I think Taylor's much bigger than The Bachelor.
No, but it's same energy. The Bachelor's
yeah.
pretty big.
No,
I mean,
it is big, yes.
By the way, just a real quick note, Perloff, if you were to get back to actual football, if you were worried about the Lions before, Jamison Williams' suspension was reduced, and he's able to
really?
return next week.
Wow.
It was a gambling suspension?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did
his
they reduce
suspension
other
was
ones,
reduced.
too?
He can now return in week 5.
I almost forgot about him.
So there you go.
Did the bets lose or something? Why is it were other guys?
No, so apparently the NFL and the NFLPA have been working on gambling that they're going to reduce penalties for people who gambled at the facility on different sports, but make it more punitive if you gambled on football or on your own team.
Oh, okay.
Right,
so
right.
this affected other players as well then.
Right.
Because he was
didn't
betting
gamble
on
on
college
football.
football, but it happened to
Yeah.
be at the facility.
Correct.
Interesting.
So his was reduced because the NFL and NFLPA are negotiating these terms.
Man.
There you go. Eagles are going down.
Wow.
You know, screw the Chiefs. I'm not a Jets fan. I'm not a Chiefs fan. Let's go Lions.
Now, you don't get to do two. What are you, James Harden, just switching teams all the time? You can't just ask out of
I
each
have been
team.
confused for James Harden.
About the same height.
Well, you thought he was on the show Average Joe.
Sorry,
which was
I don't know why I thought that. I know someone else who was on Average
Joe Millionaire?
Yeah, what is that? I don't even know.
There
I
was
know
a show
Joe
called
Millionaire.
Average Joe, like right when the reality show thing was kind of exploding.
And Joe would meet somebody and date?
Uh,
I remember Average Joe's was the name of the dodgeball team in
yeah.
dodgeball.
It was a show called Average
I
Joe.
do remember. It was on Fox, I think. Of
And I
course.
think it was like a guy who was just like, successful, like Samter, and a catch, like Samter. And then these women to try to date him.
You're laying it on a little bit too thick.
They just called it Average Joe. Actually, I think it was just about the height. I'm sorry about that. It was average height.
Oh, yeah, this guy does. I'm looking at some of the cast of Average Joe. You kind of could fit in this show.
Thank you. It wasn't really a diss. I promise. I promise it wasn't. It wasn't meant like that.
I'm all good.
Okay. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I could never insult the son of the coupon queen. I wouldn't dare.
I'm a prince. Just get it right.
Is it for the coupon prince? Coming up, we will get to the Daily Dion. We do that off after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Well, Utah is off to a terrific start in the Pac-12 at 4-0. The 10th-ranked Utes have done it without their quarterback, Cam Rising, who is getting closer to returning from a torn ACL. Nate Johnson has kept the team afloat, as has the Utes defense, ranked 9th nationally and 3rd in rushing defense. However, head coach Kyle Whittingham, wary of quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, that's a tough one, always, and the Beavers' passing attack.
Predominantly the stretch play, that's their number one go-to play, and they run it to perfection, and so it's difficult to stop. But it's all about fitting the right gaps and being in the right spot at the right time with the right fundamentals and technique, and that's what we got to do.
Oregon State comes in ranked 19th at 3-1 on the season. Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson cleared concussion protocol. He will start on Sunday. The Browns' Deshaun Watson is questionable with an injured shoulder, while the Bills have ruled out safety Jordan Poyer with a knee injury. And Chandler Jones, who has been away from the Raiders, was arrested in Las Vegas after violating terms of a restraining order. I'm Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio is everywhere, at home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, gets to ask us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show when we might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Man, it's going to be a fun weekend. Noon Eastern on Saturday, 9 o'clock Pacific. USC at Colorado. It's so weird to have that game at noon, right? It doesn't feel like a noon game in any way.
No, it feels like prime time, and that's what we get to our Daily Dion.
Daily. Do you believe that? Dion. You believe that?
I didn't even mean to make that pun. I promise. Let's get to Deion Sanders.
Oh, come on.
He was on Buffalo's primetime radio show. They did mean to make the pun. Here's Deion on all the celebrities that are coming to the Buffalo's game against USC.
It's probably 3 times what you guys have heard. It's probably 3 or 4 times that. But I like that for you all. I mean, I really do. I like that some of these guys are parking the big jets on the nearest airport, and you're going to see, shoot, I think half the NBA is going to be here. Yeah.
Well, if it's 3 times the guest list, here's what we already know. Will Ferrell, Matthew McConaughey, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, LeBron's going to be there with Bronny, of course, who goes to USC as a basketball player, apparently half the NBA.
Why is McConaughey going to be there? Big game for Texas, Kansas at Texas. I think Texas could overlook that game. And after beating Alabama, losing that game would be a classic Texas. But regardless, this whole guest list there, I am very nervous.
Why?
If it's 42-6 like Oregon, Colorado,
yeah,
they're all going to walk away incredibly disappointed because I assume most of them, unless you're a USC alum, are there to root for Deion. Doesn't Colorado have to show up? It's going to be even more embarrassing.
They have to show up because for themselves first. It's not about whether Will Ferrell's going to be entertained.
It's not
that's the risk you take when you go to a live sporting event. Sometimes it's great, you get an all-time game, and sometimes you get a blowout.
Yeah, but you don't want to lose 53-7 in front of Jay-Z. I mean, it's way worse than just losing a normal game.
I don't feel bad for the celebrities who are showing up they might not get a good game. You're worried about the student athletes,
I'm worried
the Colorado
about the
players.
athletes. Usually if there's a game that draws this kind of celebrities, it's the Super Bowl or something where both teams are good, where Colorado is absolutely still an unknown. We have no idea what team is going to show up against USC.
Yeah.
I know it's a 21-point spread. This game could be 40 points or Colorado could win. So I just think that normally for a celebrity game, we have more predictability. This is wide open.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a player, you can't be thinking about, here's all these celebrities. Do you remember what was the famous line, Joe Montana at the Super Bowl, and he looks over, he goes, hey, there's John Candy.
Yeah.
Right, as they're on their game-winning drive. I mean, the celebrities are just going to be there. You have to tune them out, and if you want to play on a big stage, you're just going to have to, that's, I guess, going to just come with the territory.
Yeah, but if it's the third quarter and it's like the Oregon game,
all the celebrities are going to leave.
Yeah, you're right. They probably take off at halftime and go to the private jet.
They all just want to be there so they can be on camera. They're celebrities, for
Who do you think LeBron really roots for? Because I'm imagining that LeBron is a fan of Deion. So he's going to be there, but his son is at USC. So does he root all in for the Trojans, or is he rooting for Deion?
I thought he was an Ohio State fan. I don't know.
And a Cowboy fan, and Eddie fan that he wants, a Yankee fan.
Yeah, LeBron's
Indians
like
fan.
you. I mean, he's just like bandwagon central.
But he's got a specific issue here. He's got USC and Colorado.
I just wonder if, you and I have talked about this a little bit more off air than on air. Do the celebrities and stuff keep coming if they have 2 blowouts in a row? I still think people want to be associated with Deion, though, because Deion is already a winner from everything he did in the NFL. He has the 3 Super Bowl rings. He's played in the World Series also. He's got all the bona fides from that.
Right, but I mean, what was Deion? It was not that hot a property from 2005 through 2019.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back. I mean, he was on the NFL Network for 20 years, and it wasn't like everyone's like, ooh, I got to go to the NFL Network set because Deion's there.
Yeah.
He used to come on the Dan Patrick Show all the time. And it wasn't like,
he
oh, my
came to
God.
SI. We interviewed him.
Deion Deion as a coach is a different thing altogether. It is unbelievable. And that 3-0
This
start.
is his second act, or third act, I guess. I don't know.
But if they get blown out here, I don't think you're going to get Jay-Z and Lil Wayne and LeBron at games in Week 10. Do you think that they might? I'm not sure. And USC too, because of LA.
See, I actually think you do get the celebrities because it's more, I think, of a more than football thing with Deion. I think it's a bit of a cultural thing. I think it's more like his celebrity goes outside of sports even. And so I think you get people who want to be associated with Deion.
Well, there's a game at UCLA on October 28th. But Arizona, Colorado on November 11th, nobody's flying a private jet out for that game.
No, maybe not. I don't know. You never know. Lil Wayne was at the game last night, running out with the Green Bay Packers. This dude's at 4 sporting events a week. I'm expecting him to show up at the World Series of Darts and stuff.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was at another football game last week.
He's been at the Colorado games.
Oh, wow. Okay. And he's also on FS1 all the time now.
I know.
He's
Lil Wayne, stop coming for our corner, man. We'll handle the sports talk.
Yeah, we leave you alone.
We don't try to rap. That'd be silly. By the way,
I feel like we should.
Yeah, I don't think so. I always thought that this job was going to be AI proof, artificial intelligence. I'm like, well, artificial intelligence can come for a lot of jobs. They can't do what we do, Perloff, right? I always thought we were safe. I saw this thing. Tom Brady is now promoting some kind of app where you can argue with the computer about sports takes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's like you type it in like, who's the best quarterback? And then it writes back Tom Brady or something. And then you get to fight back and it will send you things back. And you just argue back and forth against the computer about like the stuff we talk about. If they start doing sports movies, I might have to just break the phone.
Yeah, I think that sounds like one of the most boring apps in the history of apps.
I don't know. Do people want to do that? Argue with your phone instead of your friends?
If there was a stock to short on that app, I would be all over it.
Well, I think the Facebook people are behind it, so who knows?
Oh, well, there you go. Then it's definitely going to fail. Sorry, Facebook. Don't bury me.
That's gonna hurt the show. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Pal Chris is in Texas. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Trying to stay cool.
How hot is it there today?
94 degrees.
Oof. Man.
Yeah, and October's just around the corner.
That's crazy. What do you got?
Well, I enjoyed the game last night between Detroit and Green Bay because anytime I see Green Bay go down, it's funny.
You are the diehard Cowboy fan, Chris.
Yes,
never change. I love it.
That's why I won't miss Perloff so much when y'all move next week.
You're not coming with us. Come on, Chris.
Hey, I don't. When y'all come on, I might get to listen to y'all for 10 or 15 minutes before I get to work.
Wait.
We'll take it.
So that's it.
Back it up for a second. So Cowboys fans have an issue with Packers fans from what like the Ice Bowl and Favre? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's my parents despise Green Bay because of the Ice Bowl and Lombardi and all that crap.
Man,
you do not forget
those guys.
Man, remind me to never get on Chris's bad side because I'll be on his grudge list for the rest of my life.
Maggie, that reminds me. Let's go Buffalo.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate
Both
the
Buffalo.
support.
I'm rooting for Colorado and Buffalo.
All right, there we go. Then you and I are on the same page this week. Thank you for the call, Chris. And hey, if it can only be 10 minutes in the mornings or 11 minutes, we'll take it. Perloff and I are moving to mornings starting on Monday.
The Ice Bowl was 59 years ago. I'm like, Packers, Cowboys, huh? Who do the Cowboys not hate? And first of all, the Cowboys, for most of their history, killed everybody. So Chris should have more good feelings towards the Eagles. Trust me, the Eagles fed him a lot of victories.
Yeah, but lately, that's become a little bit more of a spicy rivalry.
Yeah. I think the Niners is the real Cowboys
the
problem.
Niners are
doesn't
our
feel like
problem.
they're destined. You picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl.
I did.
Still looks very possible, but I feel like they're going to run into San Francisco for the third year in a row.
Samter, can we get an update on our poll, please, which is, are the Lions, do you consider the Lions a Super Bowl contender? What do you got?
It's actually surprising.
I bet it's 80% no, right?
54% say no.
Really?
But I still am surprised. I mean, it's lower than what you thought, but I'm surprised. The Lions, they beat the Chiefs in KC.
Yep.
They look, I mean, their only loss is in overtime against the Seahawks. It's not like the Seahawks are a slouch. I mean, I'm surprised.
It's just hard to wrap your head around a team that has been so bad for so long being elite. And I guess it changed it. The Cubs won the World Series. The Lions are basically NFL's Cubs.
But minus the curse. I don't think they had a curse to break, did they?
I don't, not that I know of. So they're just bad.
Yeah, I think they were just inept.
I do feel like Alex Karras from Webster, he got suspended for a year for gambling.
Yeah, he did.
He was a Lion at the time, right? I do like Brian Branch and Sam Laporta. They're rookies. Oh my gosh, they're not only are they good this year, I feel like they're going to be around for a long time.
I hope so. Branch got a little banged up and
He
ended
came
up coming back into the game.
And this I do not like their offensive coordinator. Not 1 second.
Because you're afraid.
Yes.
Perloff's very nervous about the Lions.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, no. I don't want any part of it. He reminds me of one of the Eagles, Shane Steichen last year. No, this is bad news, Maggie.
855-212-4CBS. Okay, so it is Friday, which means we get to have our celebrity NFL game picker. Who will it be today? We've had Jerry Ferrara, we've had Patrick Renna, and we've had Rob Corddry. Today we get another actor who has been in iconic sports movies.
Who's leading, by the way, of the celebrities?
So I'll go in reverse order. Our boy Jerry Ferrara started out at 2-3. He started out 2-0, then lost 3 straight. Mr. Patrick Renna is 3-2, and Rob Corddry is a shocking 4-1.
Wow.
Ooh. He's a fantasy football nut.
Yeah, he
so
is crazy.
He knows the sport well.
Quickly, let's go to Anthony in Myrtle Beach. Anthony, how are you?
Glad to be alive. Proud to be an American.
Yeah,
there you go.
Same. What do you got for us?
Nothing. I just want to say my P's and Q's. Although he won't miss you, Perloff, I will.
Thank you, buddy.
Good luck.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Appreciate your calls.
I can't make the move over to you guys. I live in college country down here. They already took my DA show and everything away, so I'm back stuck with Jim Rome, the original. So.
Well, listen, Anthony, you can always find us, and thank you for the kind words. You can always find us on the Maggie and Perloff podcast if that's your thing. And if you were able to get DA, you're going to be able to get us. We're going to be taking over DA's spot.
Odyssey app, YouTube, lots of ways.
We got it all. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. So much more to do, including who's playing for their season this weekend.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We need a reset for Maggie. We desperately need something.
Laura said it's okay, Maggie. It'll all be okay. You don't know that, Laura.
Yeah.
I love you, but you don't know that.
You know Maggie's got off the deep end when she's yelling at the Guido.
No. Laura's perceptive. Today is more of an intervention than a radio show.
No.
Deep breath.
She's doing breathing exercises.
I want a camera on Maggie when Drew Gilbert hits a grand slam to win the divisional round, and I just want to be there and say, I told you.
7 years.
Yeah. In the year 2030, when I renounce my Mets fandom for good. I'm just kidding. I can't quit you.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Believe it or not, there are NFL teams that are playing for their season this weekend. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff for the final time in the afternoon. We are moving to mornings on Monday right here on CBS Sports Radio. So same CBS Sports Radio stations. In fact, more of them, which is exciting for us. The absolutely free Odyssey app, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, where you can always find us on YouTube, and Sirius XM channel 158. Everything stays the same, except we move to mornings. And unfortunately, we don't get to take Samter and Stu with us. They're going to be remaining here. Zach Gelb filling in for us, or taking over, rather, not filling in, taking over for now, and doing a great job so far.
Oh,
so...
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I know. This is exciting
A little
news.
bit of nerves. I've done a morning show before. I did 9 to 12 Eastern. Never done 6 a.m. But I got to tell you, for Dan Patrick's show, I woke up at 5:30 pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And you get used to it. But it is kind of,
It's a little different.
Takes a little work.
A little different. Okay, but we have a lot to get to. So teams that are playing for their season this weekend, where this really starts from is not just looking at the records, but also from Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, who said he's sick and tired of people looking at the Vikings record and roster and thinking, oh, everyone's going to get traded away.
Tired of people saying, we're looking into next season, or, all of the trades and stuff like that. We're focused still on this season. We have a lot more games to go, and we have a lot more things to accomplish this season.
I like the sentiment, but if they don't beat the Carolina Panthers this weekend, then the Viking season is absolutely over, and they would be smart, Perloff, to actually start not trading away Justin Jefferson. He's a franchise cornerstone. You don't mess with that. But to start thinking about maybe shipping off some other pieces, NBA style, not a bad thought.
Yeah, I don't think the NFL usually goes Major League Baseball or NBA style where you get rid of everybody at the trade deadline. It's become more of a thing lately. But the Vikings are in a weak division. We've been singing the praises of the Lions, but they're going to have a lot of easy games. If you look at remaining strength of schedule, they're in the top 10. They have one of the easiest left because they're going to see a lot of Bears and they're going to see a lot of Packers, and I think they can beat that team. I don't think you can judge a team until they play their division.
Okay,
Can you?
Well, okay, yes, but the Lions look really good, as you said, and they've already lost some very winnable games. They should have beaten the Bucs. You could argue they should have beaten the Chargers, and it didn't happen. Philadelphia in Philly, okay, you give them a pass. They were probably not going to win that game, of course. But I mean, these were 2 winnable games. You're talking about all these other winnable games coming up on the schedule. They didn't win the ones they were supposed to. And by the way, they play Carolina in Carolina this week. And then congrats, welcome Kansas City to the mix.
I don't think they should have won that Chargers game. If the officials didn't bail them out so many times, they would have gotten blown out by the Chargers. And Derwin James leads with his helmet 4 times a game.
Dude, if the Vikings just get the play in at the end of the game, or if Kirk Cousins just thinks spike the ball and regroup and reset, maybe he doesn't throw that pick in the end zone.
Well, yeah, but the Chargers had 45 chances to put that. They outplayed them from the first second of the game through the end. They just had so many penalties that the Vikings stayed in the game. Regardless, though, they're an okay team. I just think it's going to get a lot easier for them. I think they're going to string together wins. So there have been 4 0-3 teams. I looked this up earlier in the week. 4 0-3 teams to make the playoffs. But in the 17 games thing, like all the bets are off. So I kind of agree with Justin Jefferson. If they go 1-3, then they go and face Kansas City. You never know. And I don't think, what are you going to get? I mean, are you really going to get, what are you going to get for Kirk Cousins?
Anything, because at the end of the season.
What's the point of getting a 3rd-round pick?
Well, at the end of the season, he's walking out the door.
Well, you get a comp 3rd-round pick anyway.
Okay, but you'll get a comp pick. You might as well get more.
I don't think you're going to get more. No one's giving a 1st-round pick for Kirk Cousins.
It's not going to be a 1st-round pick. That it'd be too much for a rental. But I think that listen, let's call it what it is here. While we're all distracted by Taylor Swift being at MetLife Stadium this weekend, what are we really watching here between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets? We're watching the last stand here for Zach Wilson. They can't keep putting him out there if he's going to play this badly. And they're a 10.5, 9.5 point underdog at home against Kansas City. I'm not sure that Kirk Cousins is the answer for the Jets, but they have to do something.
Well, they can't bring in Kirk Cousins, though, because what's the adjustment time to learn a whole new offense and get in there? You're already 1-3. And let's face it, the Jets are good, but they're good if you put Aaron Rodgers in at quarterback. I think Kirk Cousins would take half the season to get used to just being there and be way too late then anyway.
Well, here's the thing. Also, Cousins is the contract. How do you get that worked out? It's a little bit difficult, but there might be someone else out there who could be looking. And it's not just about Cousins. We don't know what other teams are going to find valuable, and we don't know what the future long-term plan is for the Vikings. Like, what do they want this to look like next year when Cousins is not going to be there?
Well, we don't know for sure. We don't know for 100% sure that Kirk Cousins isn't going to be there.
Are we going to keep doing this with the 1-year deals and stuff?
Maybe. I mean, the Jets? They're done. There's no reason to bring in anybody right now. There's just nothing going to happen.
Did you see that longtime Jets reporter Rich Cimini, who's been covering them forever for ESPN, said the locker room is ready to implode? It's not even October. They couldn't even make it to October. The locker room's ready to implode because the defense is so ticked off that they continue to play well, and if they just had a competent person playing quarterback, they'd be in all these games.
I guess, but they're just another bad team amongst many bad teams. I think, I'm sorry, but that defense is maybe getting a little too full of themselves. Win something before you implode. You're just a young, bad team, so just go with it. I mean, your quarterback got hurt. What right do they have to complain about anything?
Well, their quarterback got hurt before plays into the game. Like, there was still time to salvage, and they haven't done anything. And in fact, the Jets coach is out here caping for Zach Wilson, like, hey, we still think he can play better. It's like, how much more evidence do you need that he really can?
But who in that locker room has any right to say anything? Has anybody ever won a single thing in that locker room?
They haven't won a single thing, but statistically, they were a top 5 defense last year. They know they're good.
That's because the other team jumped out to a 17-0 lead every game and just sat there and ran the clock out. I don't know. There's nobody on that. I don't like these reports of a bad locker room. They were there last year with the Jets, too, right? Yeah. When Zach Wilson... Feels like real loser energy throughout the building there. And I don't blame...
Welcome to the Jets.
Yeah, and here's the other question, too. Is part of this to protect Rodgers for next year? Like, if they bring in Kirk Cousins, then who knows? Maybe he gets hot and there's an odd situation with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sorry, if the Jets choose Kirk Cousins, as how does he get over Aaron Rodgers? Then
Aaron Rodgers...
That team and all their fans deserve everything that they get.
A 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles tear, do you think that is something to be excited about? Really? I don't care what fancy surgery he's getting. That is a bad situation.
Before we move on to the next team quickly, I just have a quick prediction that I would like to make for this Sunday. There was a photo of Aaron Rodgers. By the way, this all started with the Vikings, by the way, but now we're talking about the Jets. So there was a photo of Aaron Rodgers on crutches. Did you see this? In like a parking lot or something? So he's rehabbing with his Achilles. He's able to walk now on crutches.
Okay.
My prediction... He shows up to the game at MetLife. So he's there Sunday night, and he's spotted talking with Taylor Swift.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think we get like it's not going to be a love triangle or anything like that. But I think Rodgers shows up to meet Taylor.
Is Rodgers dating anyone right now? I think that makes a lot of sense.
There's some rumors about the Bucks owner's daughter, but those rumors have been around for years and years. And you'd think they would just come out with it already if they were actually dating. Why keep that such a secret?
Yeah, but he's not in Milwaukee anymore. He has no connection to that team. So
she lives in New York.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on. Another team that's clearly playing for their season this weekend is the Denver Broncos. Broncos are 0-3. They face the Bears in a game that I can't tell if this is going to be maybe the worst game ever played or maybe low-key the best game. Like, how do you – it's almost like a car accident. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay away from this game. Don't you have like a morbid curiosity about how this is going to look?
Not really, no.
2 0-3 teams?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, who's playing for the Broncos? Is anyone suiting up at all?
Well, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but it's going to be, I think they have now 9 players on the IR. It's going to be half a Broncos team versus a terrible Bears team. I don't really think either team is playing for their season here because I think both seasons are done, right? I mean, Sean Payton will probably get his first win. Is that going to be noteworthy if they beat the Bears?
If you lose to the Bears, I don't know how you face anybody. Like, you just came off of a game where the opponent scored 70 points on you.
Yeah.
If you turn around and lose to the Bears, I mean, you might as well just pack it up and leave. Like, there's just nothing left that's redeeming about the Broncos at that point.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter. The Broncos have no healthy player. They have no receivers. Russell Wilson could complete 90% of his passes. They have the worst defense in the league by how far a stretch.
Yeah,
so they have to clean. Even if they win a couple games, they're going to clean house of everybody.
So here's the thing about why it's so disheartening for the Broncos. It's not just. It's one thing if you're bad. It's another if you look like you don't want to be there.
Well, it's too late though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's an indictment on everybody. That's an indictment on Sean Payton. That's an indictment on everybody. Even if you're a backup and even if you're getting your butt kicked, you can still tell the difference between guys who look like they're really trying and guys who look like they have basically given up on the game. I mean, the tackling was laughable against Miami last week.
But I do think, though, that maybe this is the Philadelphia 76ers process in me. If you're going to be bad, it's better be really bad than limbo bad. So I think honestly going 3-14 is a better season than going 7-10 there. Right? They're cleaning house. Everywhere. Vance Joseph, gone.
Yeah.
The entire defense, gone. Russell Wilson, gone, I think. I think they draft somebody and they start over. That wide receiving core, that has to be the first thing to go. They are awful.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think you're already in tank mode. Is that unfair to the Broncos? They probably will win this game and talk a big, tough game afterwards, but there's nothing happening here.
I think everything's going to change after this year. But I'm extremely disappointed for how it looks now with Sean Payton. He came in talking very tough.
Yeah,
and has not backed it up at all.
No. I honestly, though, this is a situation where they don't want to be 9-8.
Yeah.
They don't want to be 8-9. I think this is the best thing. This is tough medicine. It's like ripping a Band-Aid. Otherwise, what if they were 9-8 and like, oh, let's bring back Russell, see what happens? That's not good either.
Yeah, but if I'm the owner of the Broncos, and I know they're the Walmart people, so they've got more money than any of us could probably even fathom, but I've spent a lot of money on Russell Wilson.
Yep.
I spent a lot of money on Sean Payton and draft picks. And what do I have to show for it? A tank job where I'm going to have to eat all this dead cap money just to trade away Russell Wilson? Like, I'm not happy here on my returns. Even if I've got all the money in the world, I don't want to be stupid about it.
I think you and I disagree on this. I think there was a hidden acknowledgement that this was an experimental year to see if Russell Wilson could be saved. Then the real Sean Payton era begins next year. I don't think this is the real. I think Sean Payton. I think there were a lot of reports out there that he could go to Stidham early. Like, he was never sold on Russell Wilson.
Well, they signed Stidham like the moment free agency started. Yeah, but see, I think that's disingenuous because I don't know this, but I bet that Sean Payton, I know it wasn't a slam dunk that he was going to be the Broncos head coach. It took a couple interviews.
Yeah.
It took a while to get to know you, whatever. I would imagine part of the sell job that he made for himself, the pitch to get him to come to Denver, that he probably pitched them to say, look what I did with Drew Brees. I can do this with Russell Wilson. And now it's like you've given up on Russell Wilson and we're 4 games into the season.
But there was a lot of smoke that he'd given up on him before the season started. There were a lot of reports, people close to Sean Payton saying he's not into Russell Wilson. Mike McCarthy lied and said he watched every football game the year he was off. So Sean Payton probably lied in his interview. I don't think this is a real Sean Payton era. He signed a long, long deal. So let's wait. Honestly, if they go 3-14, it's going to hurt They got to win this game. It's embarrassing to lose to the worst team, but I think they're in good shape. I'd rather just go really bad and then get a good quarterback. They'll be fine.
Last one for you, and this is actually Monday nights. This is for the Giants, I think. This is a big one. Giants right now are 1-2. They place the Seahawks on Monday night. These are two teams that are likely going to be fighting it out for a wild card spot. Perloff, you were very high on the New York Giants. You thought that they were going to take a massive step forward. Me, not so much. I think this is a big, big, big game for them.
Well, massive step forward. I thought they'd be a wild card team again. Now I'm not very hopeful about them. They've looked really, really bad. Saquon's playing right.
He is limited in practice today. But again, the game's Monday, so he's got a little while to recover.
So the key, obviously, the Giants, we all know their one special sauce is Daniel Jones running for his life. I think he could do that against Seattle.
That's their A plan.
Yeah,
I mean, run for your life.
Daniel Jones, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns it's the only weapon they have. Yeah. So I think you could do that against Seattle. Remember you picked that Lions-Seattle game?
The over.
Yeah, and
it
Seattle
cashed in like the fourth quarter.
I feel like Seattle's defense, like there's some yards to be had there. This should be, I hope, a high-scoring game. It's going to be this is not the juiciest Monday night matchup. Feels like
it is because it feels like implications, though.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how pretty the game's going to be.
I think Seattle's a way better team. I'm into Seattle here.
I bet on Seattle last week to cover 5.5 against your Andy Dalton Carolina Panthers. And
yeah, they look good.
They did look good.
The defense did not look good. The offense
the run
good.
game is good. They got with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, it's like they can just really sustain drives. They can lean.
Couldn't stop the red rifle, though, Maggie.
No. Well, they did ultimately. Meanwhile, Andy's out, though. That was it.
I know. Yeah, the Panthers they're not going to win another game.
No, Bryce Young
which stinks because they gave away their draft pick. So the Bears have 2 picks probably in the top 10.
855-212-4CBS. Public service announcement. I did order the Peking duck. So I decided that even though it's a monsoon here in New York today, that it was better to ask the delivery person to come, and I gave them a big tip.
I don't know Peking duck. Describe, is it just duck or is there something special about it?
I think it's the recipe.
It's like got a glaze on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it comes with the buns that are like clouds.
Yeah, never had it.
With a sprig of onion. No? This is not ringing a bell for you?
So it's like a
sandwich.
What's that bun?
A mini duck sandwich.
What are those faux? No, what's the
like a bao bun.
Yeah. It's like that.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
And some hoisin sauce, of course, which I could just drink.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, how else would I pronounce it?
I don't know.
It's spelled Hoison, hoisin. Wait, you're making me self-conscious now. Is that not how you pronounce it?
I have no idea. You said it so confidently.
Yeah. I've been eating it my whole life.
All right. Nice. Yeah, I guess I don't know Chinese food that well.
Bendozo's in the chat says it's cooked duck, Perloff. That's what it is. It's cooked duck.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, listen. If you're okay wearing the duck costume and eating duck.
I'm not going to put the duck costume. I told you. And we had our friend called from Alaska yesterday to tell me about the group that supports
Ducks Unlimited.
Ducks Unlimited.
Well, they're not necessarily a duck group. They're a
duck preservation group.
They're a conservationist group of everybody. They're just called Ducks Unlimited.
Right.
It's not all about ducks. It's about everything, wetlands and everything else.
Sure. You think they'd appreciate me eating duck wearing a duck suit? They're not going to like that joke. I don't need them on me. This is not going to be funny, these people.
We're about to start a new time slot. Once you lose the duck people.
I know. And then we're going to take the duck suit to the mornings, though.
You can't hide from the duck people. You can't run.
Us.
I don't care what time your show is. No. You're not hiding.
We will take the duck suit, and also my Oregon Duck fandom will continue when we start in the morning show on Monday.
All right. Let's go Ducks.
So this duck should be here soon. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. And if the delivery guy is like soaked head to toe and is like, why did you call me out here to deliver this? I'm blaming y'all. Every one of you. Because you said to do it. Again, 855-212-4CBS. Coming up, our celebrity guest NFL picker for the day will be here. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio if you want to watch. I'll tell you who it is in a moment. Maggie and Perloff continues after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, you can stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app. by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Maggie, I'm so excited for our celebrity picker this week.
I know we've been doing it all season long. Well, this is really just 4 weeks into the season, but we are so excited to welcome someone who is an Emmy Award winner, award-winning producer and writer and actor. It's so many things. The one and only Robert Wool joins us. Robert, how are you?
I'm fine, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing so great. Now, we're going to have you pick some NFL games for us. And full disclosure, we did put the Jets-Chiefs game. How does it feel as you're a lifelong Jets fan that the most interesting part of this game is the fact that Taylor Swift is going to be there?
The only question I have is, can she play quarterback? I mean, if she can, at least they'll have high ratings. It's hard. It's hard and it's not. I mean, I'll just might as well do this one. I can just give away right away. It's like I'm definitely going to give the points and take Kansas City. I'm going to pick Kansas City because the Jets can't score. I mean, if Kansas City left the field, it would take five plays for Zach Wilson to score. It's like they can't score. I mean, unless they turn the ball over and there's a lot of pick sixes, they can't. I gotta believe they're going to score, and you gotta believe he's going to. The Jet offense is going to give Kansas City at least 10 points. So and that's a lot. By the way, can you guys ever remember a home Sunday night football team getting 9.5 points?
No.
It's rare. It's rare. But Robert, this was supposed to be different, right? When the when the TV networks were fighting over who was going to get to broadcast which games, it was because everyone thought this was going to be Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I hate to ask you, but I imagine you had to have been watching that night. Well, can you take us through what you were feeling when you saw Rodgers go down?
Actually, I didn't see it because I was at the airport on my way to Italy.
Ooh.
And I just got back from Italy, which is great. I ate so much pasta. My blood type is now ragu. So I heard it, and nobody knew what was happening yet either. They just knew they carried him off. And then the next day was, here come the rumors. It's an ACL or Achilles, whatever. And then it was over. It was over, just like that.
Robert, why do you think they haven't brought in a veteran or somebody besides Trevor Siemian, who's in camp? But I mean, we were very surprised that they didn't try to trade for someone or at least sign a Carson Wentz.
I suppose. Do you really believe that if they signed Carson Wentz, they're a playoff team?
No.
It's just not Zach Wilson.
No. Yeah, well, I get that. Well, they had to at least roll the dice with him for 2 games or so. Because, you kept hearing the stories. And he's been there for 3 years. But there's nothing going on between those years and this guy. I mean, you just look at him. And it's like, I thought this from day one. I told my friends, they're all going crazy. I go, wait a minute. The Jets are drafting, using the number 2 pick to draft a guy because of a throw they saw in a workout with nobody rushing? That's why they're drafting this guy? And, Zach Wilson. I go, I don't see it. It's like, it's a Jet move. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Robert Wool is joining us. He's an Emmy Award winner, award-winning actor, producer. You know his work from Arliss and from Bull Durham and from Batman, and my favorite Batman. I've told you that many times, Robert. I love that Batman. Good Morning Vietnam. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's funny. Speaking of that Batman quickly, we just had, who were we talking to yesterday who was telling us about Jack Nicholson? Jim Lampley. Jim Lampley joined us.
Good buddy.
Yep, the Boxing Hall of Famer. He said that he used to play golf with Jack Nicholson. And Jack used to tell him, you just got to, don't overact. That was always his thing. When Lampley would try to come up with these big calls for these big moments, Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson and others, it was like, just don't overact. Is that true for all actors, or is that true for Jack Nicholson?
Now they tell me. Well, in film acting for sure. But now they tell me. It's because I told my goddaughter who was with me in Italy, and she's got her fantasy football team like everyone. And I said, they're asking me for bets, and I don't gamble. My father was a gambler. I don't gamble at all. I did when I was a kid, but I mean, it's like I don't want to invest emotional capital in. I'd rather do it in fantasy. At least I don't lose money. It's like, especially in certain bets. I never understand anybody who would like bet the under. And it's the smart bet most of the time. But are you really going to invest money in emotional capital watching a game for 3 hours in which you hope absolutely nothing happens? I mean, what fun is that? I just don't get that, so, but I'm not a gambler. So, and the other thing is, whatever I pick is great. And by the way, people who listen to all these experts, don't listen to any of these experts.
No.
None of them, because they don't know any more than you do. And do you remember, are you all guys old enough to remember the newspapers when they used to have, like, all the sports writers would have like a graph, they'd all have their picks,
Definitely.
right?
Definitely.
And by the way, by the end of the year, the winner, if they had 10 sports writers, maybe 3 or 4 games over 500, and everybody else was either 2 or 3 games under or about 20 games under. Always. So they don't know any more than you do. You can flip a coin and come up with the same probabilities. I mean, that's what Vegas does. That's why they hold the edge no matter which way you bet.
But there's some guy out there with a supercomputer who broke Vegas, or I've read stories like that before, and I choose to believe them, that there's someone out there who's a shark.
I'm sure there's someone out there who, does everything. I mean, so the one person can beat the thing, so everybody else in the world, the other 300 million, they certainly think they can beat. This is what proves about, the great thing about fantasy football and betting is that everybody gets to do it. But this is why when you listen to fans, whether it's baseball and they got to fire the manager, everybody thinks they can do better. And I think when you see the numbers in gambling, they can.
Everyone except for us, Robert. I mean, we're experts at this thing.
Entertainment is a whole different issue. Entertainment is doing it for entertainment value. By the way, congratulations on the move, I guess, right? Are you
Thank
excited?
you.
Yeah.
It's moving to the morning show. It's great for everybody but your families. It's correct. Maggie, what time are you going to have to get up?
I'm glad you asked. I'm going to be waking up around 3:30 a.m., which I'm going to be on like I'm thinking breakfast by like 5, lunch at 11, dinner at 4:30, midnight snack at 8, and then I'm going to bed. And this is going to be my new life.
Yeah, because unlike guys, women do have to get into hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Even podcast. They do. So
it's different.
It's tough, but good luck. It's a great opportunity.
Don't actors get 5 o'clock? You probably had to wake up early for large stretches of your career.
Not like women, though.
Yeah.
Women, take much longer in the makeup and hair trailer. It's hard for them. It's much harder.
Although you'd be surprised, Perloff's in makeup forever.
Yeah, I have a beauty team.
I'll tell you a story. You asked about Batman. When I did Batman, there was a second AD whose name was Jerry Toomey, and he had done 3. Oh no, it wasn't Batman. It was Good Morning Vietnam. He had done 3 Vietnam movies in a row. It was Good Morning Vietnam, Platoon, and I think like the Hanoi Hilton. And I said, that's all guys all the time. I mean, is that awful? He goes, no, I love it. He goes, because I'm in charge of getting people there for makeup and hair. And if I got women, if I got bloody Jackie Bisset in the chair, that's going to take another 3 hours and I got to get up earlier. So that's the reality.
I appreciate this. It takes Emmy Award-winning actor Robert Wool to finally understand the plight of me having to wake up several hours earlier than Perloff to do this morning show. But no, thank you so much. We are super excited about it. We're starting mornings on Monday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to our NFL picks.
Time for Celebrity Picks.
Robert, you had to remember the show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, right?
Yeah, I was awful to go on it one time.
Were you?
Yeah.
You didn't want to do it?
It wasn't that. My wife has a back condition and they would say, well, we're going to go backpacking through the Amazon. I go, I don't think that's going to happen. And they go, well, we got horseback, I forgot, whitewater rafting. And I said, I don't think that's going to happen, So they really, so we went somewhere else. And in fact, we did go on something like that. And I'm sad to report that this is going to bring the show down, but this was back in the early 90s, and Tim Wakefield was coming off of his.
Oh, wow.
He was coming right off that great knuckleball performance against the Atlanta Braves, where he went to the seventh game. The famous Cabrera, Barry Bonds, 7-game-7, Sid Bream running home. And he had won 2 games in the playoffs, and we became friendly because he was a kid. He was like 22.
Yeah.
So we put him under our wing, Barbara and I had my dog with us, Phoebe. And then I read today about Tim Wakefield.
So sad to hear that he's battling brain cancer, and unfortunately, he didn't want that news out there. But Kurt Schilling, of all people, decided to broadcast it on his podcast, and now that's getting some backlash, and rightly so. Okay, that's tough transition, but we switch to the NFL picks. Let's start it off, and we'll give you the 5 games, and you can tell us, a little bit about your thought process here. Let's start with your Jets. Chiefs.
Kansas City.
There you go.
Easy.
And you're laying the 9.5. Okay, what do you think about the Patriots at the Cowboys? Cowboys are a 6.5 point favorite.
Well, I went to school in Houston, University of Houston, and we used to get every Cowboy game. This is during the heyday. This is the Staubach days. And because I was forced down my throat, the Cowboys, I hate them. I hated them always. However, that said, the first athlete to consent to appear on Arliss when we were first starting in the pilot was Jerry Jones. So I have a warm spot for Jerry. He has been great to me, and I'm a big believer in loyalty. And my motto is, life is always better when the home team wins. So, and I don't mean that just in sports. I mean, yes, sports, but also family, business, politics. Life is better when the home team wins. And by the way, it's not easy to root against the Patriots if you're a Jet fan. So I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go. We love that. Yes. And of course, we're talking with Robert Wuhl, award-winning actor, and was on Arliss, which is a famous TV show on HBO.
You went to Houston? How did you end up that? Well, that's for another story.
Another time.
Because Maggie
I can tell you in 3 words. They accepted me.
Got it.
The Vietnam War, and I had to go to somewhere.
Got it.
Okay, let's move on to the Dolphins at the Bills. Right now, my Bills are getting 2.5. Miami coming off a 70-point performance against Denver.
Wait a minute a second. Who's getting 2.5?
Buffalo.
No. Buffalo's favored.
Buffalo's laying 2.5.
Yeah.
Buffalo's favored by 2.5. My fault.
Okay, I got mixed feelings on this. My dear friend Joe Bellafato from the Berkshires. He's a diehard, lifelong Miami Dolphin fan. I adore the guy. However, and he passed away this last year, so that's a tough one. However, my niece Gabby, my brother's daughter Gabby, just got engaged to a guy from Buffalo. And who was a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. And I'm an old AFL guy, so I think of Jack Kemp and Cookie Gilchrist and, and even the goal kicker Booth Lustig. There's a name from the past.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with, and he's a diehard, as most Buffalo Bill fans are. So I'm going to pick the Bills. I think this is, I like the Bills in this one.
That was a very scientific reason there.
I love it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's as good as any reason. You can quote me, he's playing, this playing. That don't make a damn bit of difference. Not at all.
Also, people like us from upstate and Western New York, we're everywhere. We'll end up in your family. You never know. You think you can get rid of us, you can't. Okay, Las Vegas Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers are a 5.5 point favorite.
Again, as an old AFL guy, the Chargers and the Raiders are part of my DNA. I mean, I can quote you these, but here's the thing. It was the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Neither of which are right there, which is another reason not to invest too much emotional capital in these monopolies. They will move on. And they are monopolies and they will move. So that being said, though, it's funny, the final season of Arliss, I hired a writer, Jennifer Allen, whose brother was Bruce Allen, who was the general manager of Raiders, and she, of course, was the daughter of George Allen, the Hall of Fame coach. And her 3 kids were Roman, Deacon, what was the third one's name? I forgot. So, but I like the Chargers. I've always liked the Chargers.
Was it Merlin? Was Merlin Olsen part of that?
It might be Merlin. You're right. You're right.
It should be.
It's Walton, Deacon, and Merlin.
I sense the theme. Last one for you. The Ravens at the Browns. Browns are favored by 3.
Okay, so I learned football from my father, and he grew up being a big Cleveland Browns fan, back from the old AAFL days. And to tell me, I learned about football about Paul Brown and about Marion Motley and Dante Lavelli and how great the old, and they were the first team to integrate. You know, they had black players on their team, and then they couldn't win in the NFL. And then, of course, Paul Brown goes to the NFL, and they win every year pretty much, which is another reason to put Otto Graham when you're talking about the great quarterbacks of all time.
Yep.
The guy played 9 years, and he's in the championship game every year, and he wins 7. That's got to be in the conversation. So I'm a Browns. I don't like the fact that they signed Deshaun Watson, but they had their team ripped out from under them, and they came back, and it's a tough one because, they got Deshaun Watson. Baltimore, on the other hand, has Stringer Bell and Proposition Joe from The Wire. People forget that. I mean, those two characters, Stringer Bell and Proposition Joe. But I gotta go. I gotta go with my dad and the Browns. Cleveland Browns.
All right.
Love it. Robert, you were on our list. The Wire, you mentioned, was like one, another great HBO show. Was there any camaraderie, or was there more competition between the HBO shows?
There was, we didn't get to see each other. I mean, but we were the fourth net, we were the other network. This is back, and you rooted for everybody because it was you against, it wasn't even you against them, but you were part of a somewhat club. I won't say, we never socialized, except very rarely in case there was an event. But and Tracy Ullman was part of that, and there was another show. There was a couple of other shows too. But it was great fun. It was a great opportunity. I got to tell any story I wanted, and I got into social issues, which that was the best thing, along with being funny.
By the way, if you're going to do a crossover episode, I don't think you wanted Arliss with The Wire or Sopranos.
That would have ended bad.
Maybe Sex and the
I
City.
would have loved it. I would have loved it.
Arliss, actually, that would have been kind of cool.
I would have loved it. No. You could have drugs involved. You could have some of the young people on the talent on Arliss, on The Wire, probably were pretty good athletes. Some of those guys, how do you recruit them? I mean, no, I would have liked a lot.
Man, talk about a reboot. Now the writer's strike is over, so now maybe you can reboot Arliss Cross with The Wire. Yeah.
Let me stop you. We were canceled. If we weren't canceled, Idris Elba, who played Stringer Bell on The Wire, he came up to me and he was going to play a fictionalized version of Lennox Lewis. Because he was a big Wire, he was a big Arliss fan, and I said, well, this is perfect. I can do something on Lennox Lewis, with him, a fictionalized version. But then we got canceled.
Yeah, 2 British guys. I imagine that would have been cool. Idris Elba and Lennox Lewis. That would have been awesome. Robert, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. We'll see how you did after this weekend, and thank you so much for being so gracious. You're right off vacation from Italy, and you came right here with us. So thank you.
And best of luck to you guys. Truly.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Appreciate
We'll call you every morning around 3:30 a.m. and
good.
remind you.
I'm on the West Coast. Please do that.
Yeah. Well, we would understand if it went to voicemail. Thank you, Robert. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That was Robert Wool with his NFL picks.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Let's continue on. Coming up, we've got the college football game that you've got to be on the couch for this weekend. We do that after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Well, the Bills will face the high-powered Dolphins this weekend without Pro Bowl safety Jordan Poyer, who has been ruled out with a knee injury. So Damar Hamlin will likely be active for the first time since going into cardiac arrest last January. The Colts get a boost with the return of rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, who has been cleared from concussion protocol. Jimmy Garoppolo has yet to be cleared. The Browns' Deshaun Watson is questionable with a shoulder injury, and Chargers running back Austin Eckler and safety Derwin James are both listed as doubtful. The NFL has modified its discipline for gambling on non-league sports. A first violation will warrant a 2-game suspension. A second time found guilty will result in a 6-game suspension, and a third, a year-long suspension. One game in the top 25 tonight. 10th-ranked Utah goes for its 5th straight to open the season on the road at Oregon State. The 19th-ranked Beavers come in at 3-1. It's the first time both are ranked entering this matchup. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. All the parts you need at the price you want, guaranteed to fit your ride every time. eBay Motors, ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. The drive of the week came in Sunday's matchup between the Chargers and the Vikings, trailing by 3 points early in the fourth quarter. LA went on a 7-play, 75-yard drive that ended on a 30-yard touchdown pass from Justin Herbert to Joshua Palmer. The Chargers went on to win 28-24. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, right here on CBS Sports Radio. That was in the NFL. College football this week, while USC and Colorado taking a lot of the headlines, as you would imagine, because of the amount of star power in that game. I think two other sneaky good games for you.
Okay.
Notre Dame and Duke. Interesting spot here for Notre Dame, coming off of a gut-wrenching loss, sorry, Stu, to Ohio State last week, and now facing a Duke team that has already proven that they are not a fluke.
Oh, yeah. This is a great game. I think everyone wants to get eyes on Riley Leonard at Duke, who's a possible first-round pick, also an amazing basketball player, which went viral again today, him 360 in the game. That's a great game. I think Notre Dame, every game's a must-win from now on, right? I mean, this is it. Duke, I want to see this. Duke plays Florida State this season, right? We were talking about that pre-show. I'm curious because Florida State looks like they're ready to lose to someone. They almost lost to BC.
Yep.
They really got a little lucky there. They should have lost to Clemson if your guy, the kicker, Whites, hits a field goal.
My guy, I just told you the story. They brought him out of, he was supposed to move to New York to take some finance job, but had a year of eligibility left. They called him off the couch.
You're not claiming him now? But,
no.
So what if Duke goes on like a real run here? If they beat Notre Dame, and then if they win another big game or two, I mean, can you imagine Duke in the Final Four in football? Would that be the most amazing thing?
So I think that's a good one. And then also you've got, I think Georgia-Auburn could be sneaky good. This is the first time we're seeing Georgia play anybody.
No, come on.
And then Utah-Oregon State, which is tonight, right?
Yeah, that's tonight. But unfortunately, my guy Cam Rising's not playing again. Utah's just got to hold on until Rising gets back because right now they're all defense.
Well, they're still 4-0 without him.
Yeah, but they've really not done anything offensively. The backup Nate Johnson's okay, but Utah has an NFL. They have NFL linebackers all over. They're really good. I just want them to survive and be in the mix because the Pac-12. I mean, is it possible that we could have two Pac-12 teams in the Final Four? There's so many good teams right now.
Wouldn't that be fitting in basically the final year of its existence?
It'd be amazing.
They couldn't get anyone in since Washington, feels like a decade ago.
You didn't mention Kansas, Texas, by the way.
Yes, you're obsessed with this game.
You just know Texas is probably thinking about some other game. Kansas comes in here, and they got off to a hot start last year. Lance Leipold, the coach, is really, really good. I just see this as a potential look-ahead game for Texas.
Well, because they got Oklahoma next week.
Yeah, so I hope Texas is focused. We've seen a lot of games like that this year where a really good team has a better opponent next week and just sort of messes around. I am watching this game closely. Texas should beat them easily, but you do not know.
I think that a point worth noting here, and Samter, you were talking about this, you look at the top 10, maybe, you might even be able to say top 12, 13, hell, 14 if I'm looking at the AP top 25, and this is all legitimate teams that you could see in the college football playoff. This feels so deep this year. Georgia, Michigan. Could you see Texas in there? Can you see Ohio State, Penn State? Could you see Florida State? So you said Florida State looks vulnerable, and I'll agree with you. But they kind of, except for a game against Miami and then Florida at the end of the year, they got past Clemson. This is that.
Clemson. Yeah, Clemson is not any good at all.
I know, but I'm talking about in the ACC. That's besides Miami. That's probably going to be your biggest opponent.
So do they not have Duke, or am I missing something here? Anyway.
Sorry, they do play Duke on the 21st, but it's home.
Yeah, I mean, they almost lost. I know it's a weird game, but they almost lost to BC. So anything can happen here. I don't think you're going to be able to. I don't think you're going to have a two-loss team in here. I think there's going to be too many one-loss teams. But the problem is the Pac-12 is probably going to have three deserving teams.
Well, I didn't even mention Washington, USC, Oregon, obviously Notre Dame, and then you still have Alabama and LSU who are down ranked 12th and 13th, along with Oklahoma at 14, according to the AP Top 25.
Yeah, it's interesting. But in 2 weeks, this will look much different.
It's going to clear up in 2 or 3 weeks for sure. But right now, like Maggie said, there's like 15 teams that I wouldn't be surprised if they made the Final Four.
That's because all the coaches are scheduling scared. I mean, most of these teams have beaten nobody. Almost everyone you just mentioned.
Sure, but it feels more wide open. It feels like any one of these 15 teams could make it in. There's 2 or 3 that feel like they're like the cream of the crop, but you just never know.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, major implications in the NFL this weekend. Cowboys, Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, some major games going down. We're going to talk about it all. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
There were parents there of 8 and 9-year-olds who their kids are hearing some terms for sexual acts and then came back to the parents and said, "What is this?"
Ooh, that's a tough one. My daughter has memorized about 15 Nicki Minaj songs.
Oh, boy.
So she knows a little more than I am. Sometimes I go to her with questions now.
What is WAP?
You know, it's an interesting moment, and it's related. When your kid drops a curse word on you, my daughter, like 9, didn't like this teacher. My daughter's this cute little thing. She goes, "Bleeping Miss What's her name?" I was like, whoa.
Working blue. Wow.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Two teams in the spotlight, but for very different reasons in the NFL. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So glad you're with us on CBS Sports Radio. I think for storyline-wise, if you will, the Cowboys and what they do after losing to Arizona and how they bounce back, or if they bounce back, against the New England Patriots is by far one of the most interesting games of the weekend, simply because I basically picked the Cowboys almost against like maybe anybody, except maybe the 49ers or your Eagles or whatever. The Patriots aren't that great as a football team, but I still have that sort of fear of Bill Belichick that he can put together a game plan where you know what he's going to do. He's going to take away the best thing you do on offense and the best thing you do on defense. So he's going to try to find a way to take Micah Parsons out of the game, which is what Arizona did. And he's going to try to find a way to take CeeDee Lamb out of the game. And just on that fact alone, I feel like you can't automatically pencil in that the Cowboys are going to for sure bounce back in this game.
I'm just curious, when are you going to stop being scared of Bill Belichick?
Never.
They're pretty bad right now. You realize that.
The offense is bad. The defense is still good.
I just think there's so little pressure on Dallas to do anything offensively because I do not see how these receivers are going to cause any damage against Dallas. I think this is, look at the Eagles game against the Patriots. It's 25-20. I think it's going to have a very similar feel. It's going to be ugly. Just New England doesn't have any firepower. So it's sort of a break for Dallas.
Well, but here's the thing, 25-20 to the Eagles. The Eagles are a much better team than the Patriots on paper, and that was a somewhat close game.
It really wasn't.
Well, but it kind of was at the end.
No, it wasn't. There was never, that guy, they had a desperate, Mac Jones wasn't going 80 yards in 15 seconds against the Eagles. It wasn't that close. The Eagles were playing with their food. I think the Patriots can slow down the game and make it close, but they're not going to beat good teams.
That's a big one for Dallas, right? What is the bounce back? If they bounce back, what does it look like? Is it dominant? And
I don't think you're going to see a dominant game against the Patriots.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
like their defense is going to keep them in these games.
I think it's going to be, there's going to be a 19 involved and a 26.
Something like that.
I'll bet you if you're live betting this, and New England could obviously win this game, but I'll bet you if you're live betting this, Dallas will feel like they're in control the whole game, and then it'll be 5 points.
Then you also have another massive game this weekend, and it's the Bills and the Dolphins. And I think it's interesting for a variety of reasons, and not just because I'm a Bills fan, but how does anyone stop this Miami offense coming off of a 70-point performance against Denver? Perloff, I know you're not a huge believer in that 70 points didn't mean as much as people like me are making it out to be. Yet at the same time, Buffalo, while the defense has been fine, they've had some real weak spots in terms of stopping the run over the last few years, and that's exactly what Miami does so well.
So what did New England do to slow them down?
Well, New England has probably better personnel on defense than Buffalo.
Really? I think Buffalo's defense looks like they're flying around like crazy.
They are looking like that, but look at the quarterbacks that they've faced so
Yeah.
far. They have not faced the creme de la creme of quarterbacks. They faced Zach Wilson because Aaron Rodgers was hurt 4 plays into the game, and they lost that game. They have faced Jimmy Garoppolo and Sam Howell.
So I think the key, what New England did was they kept Miami in front of them. They're like, you can chip down the field if you want, which is probably a Belichick thing. But we're not going to let up the big play. I mean, the Chargers in week 1, the defensive backs, I mean, they went into a coma midway through the game. They let the Dolphins receivers run past them every time. So Denver, obviously, their DBs were not even trying. They just gave up on the game. Honestly, I think if Buffalo keeps them in front of them, then Miami's going to have to string together so many good plays. I think this is actually the over-under is 53.
Yeah, high.
I'm not betting this one, but I don't think it's going to hit 53.
I don't know. It depends. Like, Buffalo probably feels like, and maybe rightfully so, that they have to get into a shootout with Miami. I think they're going to feel that way. Now, what I worry about from the Buffalo perspective is that the return of super ultra risky Josh Allen comes back because they feel like we cannot take field goals. We cannot settle for field goals in this game. It's got to be explosive plays, when that's actually not what the Bills need to do. They need to be able to still lean on the run game. I'm not saying you have to settle for field goals, but you got to still be smart about how you're running your offense.
Well, last year, I keep bringing up, Tua is coming off a 470-yard game, his career high.
Yeah.
And then the next week, it was just a grind in the Bills game. It was nothing like that.
Yeah,
And
but
I think that happens in divisional games. These guys know each other so well at this point. It's not like the Broncos were going to shock and awe them.
So here's the thing. You heard Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, talk earlier this week, and he really gave this high praise to Miami. He said that what they're doing is almost revolutionary, right? And what's he talking about there? He's talking about, I think what he's talking about is the amount of pre-snap motion that they're using, how they're basically able to spread everyone out there so fast, and they're using so much, they're disguising so much of what they're doing. It's just defenses are totally off kilter. They cannot adjust during the game.
Except for the Patriots, who know this Miami team back and forth.
Yeah.
Buffalo played them 3 times last year.
No, I know.
There's nothing revolutionary. First of all, I don't believe Sean McDermott when he says that. He's seen these tricks, right? If he can't get it now, don't you think that the familiarity is going to breed some sort of a slog? Or is it going to be the shootout? Because I'd be shocked if it was a shootout.
But weather's supposed to be perfect, which is another talk about a huge break for Miami. Not just going to Buffalo in what is it going to be, October 1st on a 77-degree day with 0 clouds. They already went to New England for the opener. Or excuse me, what was it, 2 weeks ago? When they go to New England? Week 2. So they get 2 of their cold weather games get taken away, and now they also don't have to even think about Aaron Rodgers because he's gone with the Jets. Everything is lining up quite nicely here for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, it's week 4. Do not promise me you will not make too big a deal out of this result.
I'm not going to because, first of all, I am encouraged by how the Bills are playing.
Right.
So so I'm not always wrapped in barbed wire when it comes to the Bills, but I'm encouraged by how they're playing, and also I don't think it's going to have a huge bearing on what happens.
Also, I think I've been following this game today. I mean, everybody's bowing out with injuries. I'd say get out of this game healthy. So Poyer's out. Jalen Phillips is out for Miami. What
Teron
about
Armstead is questionable.
Yeah,
left tackle,
and the center is questionable too. Buffalo got to have any other injuries we got to worry about?
Well, guys are banged up, but they're all playing. And Jalen Waddle is back.
Yeah. So, and DeMar Hamlin, what's the latest?
So it looks like DeMar Hamlin, because Jordan Poyer is out, DeMar Hamlin is set to make his debut 9 months after he went into cardiac arrest.
Does that factor into, if you're trying to pick this game, do you think of the emotional bounce back of that? Or
I think there will be an emotional component to it, but at the same time, DeMar Hamlin's story will always be astonishing.
Yeah.
It will always hold a special place, and it will always be, they'll be bringing him back to Buffalo for decades, hopefully, to come and wave to the crowd. But I'm thinking that the Bills have probably moved past that at this point.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing about the DeMar Hamlin story is they really need him
as
a safety.
It can't just be, feel good story. It's like, no, you got to be out there tackling, man.
Yeah.
This is not going to be easy.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that game. It does not feel like a 1:00 game at all.
No, that's fine because the primetime game tomorrow night, of course, or Sunday night, excuse me, is going to be Chiefs-Jets.
Well, that's great because we have to wake up early because we're moving in the mornings on Monday. So this game will be over, what, 9-10 minutes? We'll see we'll see Taylor Swift.
Wave to the crowd.
Yeah, or do the Chiefs somehow overlook this game and just barely show up and then win 25-19?
Weirdly, Taylor Swift might be the best thing that happened to them because now they can't overlook it, because there's so much more attention on this game. I think because of her. I don't know if in the locker room they really care, but think about it. They've got all these extra eyeballs on them because of the Taylor Swift effect. You can't go out there and lay an egg against the Jets. Refocuses.
Really?
Maybe.
Okay. I didn't think of that.
I don't think it really matters. I mean, they can literally show up with their practice squad and still beat the Jets.
I think Chris Jones alone, you could have one Chris Jones against the entire Jets offense, and I'd still think the Chiefs win.
Yeah, well, the Jets offensive line's not great, and Zach Wilson is still playing quarterback for the Jets. How about this was from Greg Olson. He was on Aaron Andrews and Carissa Thompson have a podcast called the Calm Down Podcast, and he was talking about the people who are critical of the game broadcast focusing on the Kelsey Taylor Swift story.
They have poop in their pants. The amount of people that are like, stop talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I'm tuning in for the game. I'm like, really? The score's 41-0. Get over yourself.
And you know what? It might be a similar kind of blowout.
Yeah,
possibly. You're going to get a lot of Taylor.
But Fox can't do what they did on Sunday, and I've never seen them do that. Switch at halftime of a game.
Halftime.
That was crazy. For the national game on Fox, they just bailed out of that whole game. So what are we going to do?
Well, they went to the Cowboys-Arizona game, which was actually a much more compelling game.
I do not want to see the Sunday night crew trying to sort of talk their way through a night of Taylor Swift and no competitive game. Like, we need some football to complement Taylor Swift this time. Not to be poopy pants or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Greg Olson would
we're
call
not going to be able to fill 3 hours with just Taylor.
Oh, watch them. I think they can.
Tirico? I do not see that happening.
Tirico and Collinsworth on Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Some crews could do it. Maybe Greg Olson could do it. I don't think Tirico and Collinsworth can do 3 hours of Taylor Swift.
The other thing that got me thinking, you mentioned it, how Fox cut away at halftime from that bad game.
Wild.
Remember when we were kids or like when we were younger and wherever you lived, you just had to watch whatever game was on? And if the game was a blowout, you had to stick with it until basically the last 2 minutes of the game where they might flip you over to a better game. Where was this when we were young and didn't have YouTube TV and NFL Plus and all these other ways to watch a million games? Like, meanwhile, they could have been doing this the whole time. And I had to watch in upstate New York all these crappy Jets games. Thanks, Samter. And sometimes crappy Bills games, quite frankly. And they never cut away to a better game until the bitter end.
We were so focused on the Eagles growing up. Like, we didn't care about the other games that were on TV. Like,
but if it was a blowout and it's not your team.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. Honestly, like, before you had Sunday Ticket, it was just about the home team. I think it was a different time.
It was a different time, but like, I don't know. I had to wait until Chris Berman and Tom Jackson came on NFL Primetime to tell me what the hell happened in the Chargers game.
I'd be sitting on my computer watching Gamecast to see the Raiders move the ball 2 yards at a time and
Right.
lose by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, with like a little football.
Yep.
Moving down the field.
That's really weird to have an out-of-town team and not get to see them. That would be very frustrating, I imagine. Like,
Well, yeah, that was how it
so,
was.
but the Bills were on for you, though.
The Bills were on for us, but then you would get like the late window of a doubleheader and say it's like some random Saints, Seahawks game or something. It would be Saints Seahawks. It'd be like Saints Falcons game or something. And if it's a blowout, they could have gone to a different game this whole time, and they never did.
Yeah, you're reminding me of when you're watching the Cowboys in the 4 o'clock window, and Pat Summerall would go, tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
And just that fear of having to do your homework
Yep.
and go to school the next day. We're going to get big-time Sunday scaries this weekend, by the way.
Yes. This is going to be the apex of Sunday Scaries in our life because Perloff and I are moving to the morning show starting on Monday. We're taking over on CBS Sports Radio to do mornings. Damon Amendolara, our very good friend, and we're so thrilled for him that he's getting a new opportunity at Sirius XM. We wish him nothing but the best. He's been totally gracious about all of this, and we're excited to be taking over.
Can't wait. I'm glad that the game will not be competitive Sunday night so we can focus and rest. We'll see, basically once you see Taylor in the box, it's over, right? I don't have to stay up to watch. There's no iterations. Nothing's going to happen, is it?
I've also I've purchased an actual alarm clock for the first time since middle school. There we go.
What's the over-under on how many times they show Taylor Swift?
Oh, probably 30,
there's got to be
35.
I'm sure there's a bet. I heard there are all sorts of Taylor Swift bets out there.
Is that one of your props for this week's picks?
Which we'll do our NFL picks, Maggie and Perloff style, in just moments. Ryan is in Santa Barbara. Ryan.
Maggie and McLovin, how are we doing on this Friday?
We're amazing.
Beautiful. Sitting up here at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, having a little late lunch after work, looking at this rather beautiful yacht, one of the big yacht ships, a cruise ship, I should say.
Wow.
That came down from Nome, Alaska, and is on their way to Antarctica. But
Ryan, you're
Barbara.
always giving tours, wine tours and stuff in wine country. You're a boat guy, too? You're a yacht guy?
Yeah. It's the best club in town. You overlook the harbor. It's beautiful. But I'm really sad the love affair is over. You guys are leaving me on the West Coast here.
Listen, we'll call you every morning and wake you up, and then you can listen to the show.
Right, exactly.
Listen, you're laughing. We'll call you.
I think McLovin. Did you say 6 to 10? Are you because then that would be in my time frame. Or are you 6 to 9?
So we're 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay, then I can fit you in that last hour.
There you go.
There you go. See,
sure. I'm up. Yeah. See. Well, I wanted to weigh in. I the Detroit Lions. Although I didn't see the football game last night because unfortunately I had to go see the Foo Fighters play at Santa Barbara Bowl.
Oh my gosh, poor you!
Which was insane. It's probably one of the best venues. It's holds about 5,000 people, and probably out of the 30 years I've lived here, it's one of the top 1-2 shows ever.
Wait, okay, Ryan, you're making us jealous here. You're at the yacht club. It's beautiful. Half of New York City's underwater, so we're already jealous of that. And your Foo Fighters and your top five. Okay.
Yeah. And I had GA. I was jumping up and down the whole time with my buddy, just screaming. Oh, they rocked the house.
Wow.
Anyway, but the Detroit Lions are definitely not Super Bowl contenders. They'll make it to the playoffs. And let's just agree now that, it's going to be the Niners playing either against the Eagles.
We're not agreeing on
Levin's Eagles or the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Just the NFC title game. All right, I'll agree to that.
Niners against the Eagles for the right to play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right.
There we go.
Sounds reasonable.
Ryan, listen, we'll talk to you in the morning, okay?
All right. You guys enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Ryan.
We'll
too.
See you next week. Cheers.
Talk to you, pal. Jerry is in Omaha. Hey, Jerry, how are you?
I'm fine. I just wanted to join in with millions that are telling you congratulations on your new show and going to miss you in the afternoon.
Jerry, thank you so much. It's so kind of you to do that, to call in. And we hope that if you're an early riser, you'll still get to hear us in the morning.
I can catch that last hour. As it is now, I always wait. I don't listen to anybody else because I want to get my sports news from you guys. So now I'll catch it that last hour.
Perfect.
And please tell Andrew I still drink rum and Coke, and I'm looking for just the right outfit for this weekend.
Oh, really? I hope it's something with high heels there if you're drinking a rum and Coke.
Do you even remember that conversation about picking the right outfit, Andrew?
No, I do remember making fun of rum and Coke. What was the right outfit?
Well, you made some comment about, this is about a year ago, that you were worried about what outfits you were going to wear somewhere.
That sounds like Perloff.
That's me.
We have many outfit discussions. We talk about the weather mostly. But, Jerry, thank you for the kind sentiment. Enjoy the rum and Cokes this weekend. Perloff's worst take of all time, that rum and Cokes are not masculine.
Oh, that's a fact.
It's not.
Oh, yeah. You really going to see John Wayne go in and order a Malibu and Diet Pepsi.
And he'd love it. 855-2124-CBS. We make our NFL Week 4 picks, Maggie and Perloff style, next. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. time to answer our Ask the Pros question today, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Scotty, who's in the Bay. Asked, are we still bringing all of our Maggie and Perloff bits to the morning show? You can submit a question by tweeting at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yes, Perloff and I are moving to the morning show on CBS Sports Radio starting on Monday. We are taking everything. The duck suit. We are taking our daily updates on Aaron Rodgers and Deion Sanders. And, of course, our NFL picks will continue those as well. Our NFL celebrity guest pickers. Today was the Emmy Award-winning actor Robert Wuhl. You remember him from Bull Durham and Arliss and Good Morning Vietnam and Batman. He joined us earlier, and we'll continue all that good stuff when we move to mornings. Right?
And by the way, it's funny we're saying moving. We're going to be sitting in the exact same seats, exact same studio.
Just earlier.
It's just moving time. It's going to look the same for now. Everything is going to be, I think, all the good parts and none of the bad parts.
Well, except for one very important part, which is, unfortunately, we cannot bring Samter and Stu with us. They are needed here in the afternoon slot. And so that is difficult for us, but we put 2 awesome years together. You guys are the best, and we appreciate you so much.
And we'll accept calls about Samter or Stu in the morning if anybody has an issue or a bone
just
to
old
pick.
beefs, The
Raiders look particularly bad and you want to make fun of Stu, call in the morning. Just get out of the way.
We'll
knock it off your to-do list.
Complain about the Raiders.
We'll send it his way. We have so many outstanding bets right now, partially because of our friend Nick in Texas, who we'll talk to in a second. But Samter and Stu, are there any bets outstanding that you guys are involved with? We just all ate Peking duck, much to the chagrin of the duck.
I believe there is a pizza coming my way at some point.
There is a pizza coming your way, yes.
That kind of got derailed because of my little vacation last week.
Yes, I owe you a pizza because the Bills blew out the Raiders.
Yeah, because the Raiders are an awful football team that, always torture me. But I guess in this one instance, I'm the one not getting tortured.
At least you get lunch out of it.
Yeah.
So congrats. Samter.
No, I'm not involved. Stu and I are not involved in any bets. The only people who are involved in any active bets is Mike in California. He said one or fewer Super Bowl picks will actually make the Super Bowl. Mark in Miami was talking Eagles-Dolphins. I think Zach Gelb has a cheesesteak challenge. That was part of that with Perloff. Sean in Oregon, obviously we have the bet with the Jets finishing in 3rd or 4th place or worse. And everything else just between you or Perloff against Wemby.
Well, we also have Perloff v. Victor Wembanyama. If he becomes the Rookie of the Year in the NBA, Perloff has vowed to drive to San Antonio. Our pal Nick in Texas no longer has a bet with Perloff because he won already, and Perloff has to don a Buffalo suit because you lost the big bet between the Colorado Buffaloes and Nick's Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, Nick, you sent me some great costumes. I'm totally going to jump on one of those, and I might double dip and make it part of my Halloween costume as well.
Oh, smart.
Nick, as long as you're okay with that.
Perloff, Maggie, how are you guys doing today? I cannot let you guys finish your last day of a day show without saying, congratulations on moving to the new time slot. I know that's going to be an awesome morning show. And, one last shout out to the Weekdays and Purple Drinkers. So I had to give them one last shout out.
Wait, hold on though, Nick. Not one last shout out. I'm assuming all the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers, you guys aren't early risers?
Well, we're going to have those Weedos and coffee drinkers.
Yes.
So I look forward to meeting those people, definitely.
I love it. Yeah, well, this is not a goodbye. This is just a see you in the morning.
Exactly. And I want to thank you one last time, too, for allowing me to be part of your show these last couple of years.
No, Nick, we're so thrilled to have you. You've been such a huge part of building this show. And, man, we loved when we got to hang out with you in Houston. And we hope we get
your boys.
Yeah, we hope to hang out many, many times in the future.
Well, I do look forward to coming to the morning slot just because I do have to see Perloff and his buffalo suit. I can't miss that.
We've got Perloff in the buffalo suit. Perloff also, Nick, it's great to talk to you. Thank you for calling in. But this is not a goodbye. This is just a, hey, we're moving in the morning. That's all. Perloff also lost a bet to moi, and he has to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands.
Oh, yeah.
Pie eating contest style.
Joe Burrow's average salary.
That
was pretty close.
I knew it was going to be bigger than Herbert's, though.
It was bigger than by less than $1 million.
I mean, it wasn't how big was it going to be. It was just bigger.
All right.
So
All right.
We're going to aim to do that next week. So we want to start the morning show off with a bang, and nothing says wake up in the morning with us more
Quite the
than
breakfast.
Perloff eating a bowl of chili
Oh, yeah.
without utensils.
I didn't think about the actual, eating that at 9 in the morning. Does not sound fun.
I think we should do it at like 7:30
Yeah.
Eastern. Lots of people have chili for breakfast. Blah. Okay, it's time to get to our Maggie and Perloff NFL picks.
Maggie and Perloff's NFL picks.
Samter, do you have records for us, sir?
I do have records. Last week was actually a pretty good week for both of you. Maggie, you went 2-1. Your only loss was the Falcons-Lions over because you went against the one of the two show rules, never bet on the Falcons.
I know.
Perloff went 3-0, undefeated. Pats -2.5, Chargers Vikings under 54, which just hit, and then the DK Metcalf over 4.5 receptions. He had 4 at halftime. That would seem like a cinch. Perloff is 5-4 on the season. Maggie, you're still a little bit below the Mendoza line at 3-6, but you're charging hard.
All right. Thank you for the update. And here we go. How we do this on the Maggie and Perloff show. 3 picks, 1 against the spread, 1 over under, 1 player prop. All of these numbers brought to us by DraftKings. Okay, Perloff, go ahead.
Okay. I was doing my deep dive research, and I came across a note that interested me.
Okay.
In London, most often, I don't have the exact number here, the favorite covers. So Jacksonville is a 3-point favorite over Atlanta. Now, I don't want to read too much into last week's game where Atlanta looked bad, but I don't think we've seen the real Jacksonville Jaguars yet. I think this is a bounce back. They're very comfortable in London. We know they go there every year. And I'm going with the trend here. I picked the favorite, Jacksonville -3.
Okay. I tend to stay away from the Europe games. Like, I weird things happen over there.
Definitely.
The lighting is different. I don't know. It's all odd. They're doing this. It's going to be like Toy Story. I don't know.
Oh, right. What is that all about?
I'm not sure. Okay, for my first pick against the spread, I know Anthony Richardson is coming back for the Colts this week, but the LA Rams are not playing bad, right? They're playing well. They're having some unfortunate turnovers at the end of games and stuff like that. I know the Colts defense is very good. They have all those, as you said, Pro Bowlers at a lot of positions. They are playing well. But for the Rams to be getting a point on the road here, I just think they're a better team than the Colts. So I will take the Rams and give me a point.
Okay, I like it. Okay, totals. Robert Wohl was our celebrity picker this week. He said, why would any rational human pick an under, even if it's a smart pick?
I know.
It's against all of human nature to bet the under. I'm going to use that as inspiration, and I've been doing unders all season long, and they've been hitting. I need to do an over now. It's grueling to pick the under, Maggie. Have you ever watched? I was watching Mike mention the Vikings-Chargers last week. The over-under was 54, and I was holding on for dear life. I need to go over. The game I'm circling is the Niners-Cardinals, 43.5 points. But here's the thing. The Niners are 14-point favorites.
Yeah.
So if they're 14-point favorites, that is a really low number. I think the Niners will pour it on, but my guy Josh Dobbs will come up with some points and put this number over. I'm going over this week, 43.5, Cardinals and Niners.
Okay, well, you notice when our guest, Emmy Award winner Robert Wohl, said that about the unders, I stayed very silent.
Why?
Because I am picking an under this week, because I betted over last week and I got burned, but more just because I feel this. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, the number set at 39. Deshaun Watson limited at practice today. His status uncertain now for Sunday. And you have a Browns defense that is legit, and you have a Ravens defense that's very good too. So I'm going to take under 39 for the Ravens at the Cleveland Browns.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, the spread has come down as if Deshaun Watson might not play.
Yeah.
So it's now at Cleveland -1. Yeah, I think that's a really safe bet. All right, props.
Who's the Browns' backup quarterback?
I don't even know. It's I do know. Who's behind?
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
DTR.
Yeah, he can run a little bit. Yep.
So
UCLA.
All right, my prop.
Yeah.
Last week I hit with DK Metcalf. I have no better strategy than riding the DK Metcalf wave. He's at 60.5 yards against the Giants. So I have to wait till Monday night for this one. We're allowed to do Monday night, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to stick with DK Metcalf, who I think is fantastic. Geno Smith is also very, very good. Giants defense is okay. 60.5 yards for DK over.
All right. My final prop here, I didn't really want to touch this game in terms of the spread or the over-under, but we talked about the Vikings. They're 0-3 and just staring their season just right in the face.
Definitely.
They're on the road against Carolina. Justin Jefferson over 6.5 receptions. I mean, give it to me.
Seems unless they blow them out and they don't pass the ball.
I think they're trying to make a statement here. Like, even if it's a blowout, I think they keep, like, they've got to get a lot of bad taste out of their mouth.
Okay.
They got to get 0-3 bad taste out of their mouth. Justin Jefferson earlier this week coming out saying, we don't like this talk about people saying they're going to raid our roster and people are going to get traded because the season's over. I think it's going to be an attempt at a statement game here for the Vikings. So as long as Cousins isn't turning the ball over, Justin Jefferson over 6.5 receptions, please.
Love it.
There we go. That's the Maggie and Perloff Week 4 NFL picks. Okay, a lot more to do, including some details coming out about one of the most interesting stories in sports from this year. We finally get to the bottom of what made one star player lose their cool. We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
Sports Flash.
Well, week 5 of the college football season opens tonight with another great matchup in the soon-to-be defunct Pac-12. The conference, though, going out in a blaze of glory with Oregon State ranked 19th and welcomes number 10 Utah to Corvallis. The Utes off to a 4-0 start while quarterback Cam Rising continues to recover from a torn ACL. The Beavers are 3-1. Number 1 Georgia will face Auburn tomorrow afternoon. The feel-good story of Damar Hamlin continues. He will be active for the first time since going into cardiac arrest last January. The Bills' safety gets the nod with Jordan Poyer ruled out against the Dolphins Sunday. The Browns' Deshaun Watson questionable with a shoulder injury, while Anthony Richardson is back for the Colts. He'll start after missing last week with a concussion. And Austin Eckler and Derwin James are both doubtful for the Chargers. The San Francisco Giants have fired manager Gabe Kapler after 5 seasons. He led them to 107 wins 2 years ago in a division title, but never came close to repeating that success. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff for the final time in the afternoon. After today, starting Monday, October 2nd, we are moving to mornings on CBS Sports Radio.
That's wild. This is the last time we'll be talking to you at 5:40 Eastern.
Yeah. And our lives change for the better. We're excited to be starting this new challenge. Of course, you know, for the history of this medium of radio, which is now turned to radio and video and everything, there's something unique about Morning Drive. You know, being with people in the morning and getting a connection with that audience. We're excited about it. And we're excited, and we hope that we're going to be bringing everyone with us who have found our show over this last year plus and who have, you know, liked what we're about and what we do. And we're still going to be here right on these CBS Sports Radio stations.
Right. I mean, afternoon is obviously a huge deal as
Of
well.
course.
Afternoon drive is huge. I grew up in Philadelphia where the morning show was Angelo Cataldi, Al Morganti, at times Jason Stark and Tony Bruno, and it really set the tone for the day. So I want to sort of capture that energy. Listen, nothing like Philadelphia local radio.
Accents.
Yeah. And, you know, basically, but you do have part of it because the sky is falling every time your Bills lose. That's what it's like in Philly. The sky is falling. But, no, I'm really excited for that. And, yeah, it's exciting that we get to do this together. We've been doing this now a year and 3/4, and we get a big change already.
I know. Look at that. This industry, man. You can never tell what's coming around the corner. Speaking of which, here comes our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. And Casamigos will be coming with us to the morning show because who's not thinking about tequila at 9:30 in the morning? I know I am. Today's shot of the day comes from earlier in the show, our celebrity NFL game picker, Robert Wool, the Emmy Award winner. You know him from Arliss and Bull Durham and Batman and Good Morning Vietnam. So many things. He is a diehard Jets fan.
Ooh.
And we talked about it. How does it feel as you're a lifelong Jets fan that the most interesting part of this game is the fact that Taylor Swift is going to be there?
The only question I have is, can she play quarterback? I mean, if she can, at least she'll have high ratings. If Kansas City left the field, it would take five plays for Zach Wilson to score.
Man, and that is the true feeling of a Jets fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, could he get lucky and do it in 3? Maybe.
No, him throwing against nobody is what got him drafted in the first place. He had this Zach Wilson had this great workout.
Yeah.
He was coming out of BYU.
So they did beat the Bills in front of everybody.
They did.
Week 1, maybe a miracle happens. I'm rooting for some. I need some juice in that game. I can't just
be about Taylor.
Actually, even last night, I was so happy in the second half when Green Bay made it a game. I just need a game at night. That's all I asked for, Maggie.
That's all we ask for on here. We're simple people. We also got to the bottom of something. Well, not us, but Pablo Torre, our former colleague at Sports Illustrated. We're both good friends with Pablo. He's a great guy. He's got a new podcast where he does some deep dives on sports stories. And one of them was getting to the bottom of what exactly did Jordan Poole say to Draymond Green moments before Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face. It's been one of these huge mysteries, along with who leaked the tape. It's been one of the huge mysteries that have that's happened in sports this year. And we found out that what Jordan Poole said to Draymond was, how does it feel to be a backpack, an expensive backpack for 30? 30 is Steph Curry, of course. That's his number. So how does it feel to be an expensive backpack? Essentially, how does it feel that Steph Curry has been carrying you all these years to these championships? And that set off Draymond Green.
Yeah, I mean, that's a reason to cold cock a guy. I mean, if he did that on the street to somebody, Draymond Green would have gone to jail. It was really, for that line, it's a good line, but punch somebody in the face who doesn't have his hands up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a insight, I think, into Draymond, because the fact that this is clearly something that he is sensitive about, that when all is said and done, Draymond is a great player, great defensive player, multiple-time defensive player of the year. But I think in a sense, he must be feeling insecure that these titles in this era is going to mostly be remembered for just Steph Curry and probably Klay Thompson. And he's a part of it, but he's not going to get the top billing when we think back on this dynasty 10 and 15 years and 20 years later.
I understand
and
the
Durant,
logic.
by the way.
Right. The logic of all that, of course. I mean, that's definitely true. But to have like a little trash talk line like that.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's totally crazy. But the funny thing is, Draymond has sort of recovered from that.
That kind of recovered big time. The
Because
organization,
Jordan Poole lost his confidence and is now useless.
Well, and also Jordan Poole got traded away. He's playing in Washington, D.C. right now, and Draymond gets to stay with the Warriors. I mean, Draymond kind of won this. It feels almost a little unfair that Jordan Poole's the one who got punched in the face, and then he gets sent to basketball Siberia in Washington, D.C.?
Well, yeah, I mean, and what does that mean, though? The fact that he's still there, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
They totally had Draymond's back. Remember, Draymond punches Jordan Poole, and the organization was like, who leaked the tape? They weren't like, how dare you do something like that?
But it's funny, though, because recently with the Dame trade, everyone started talking about who are the real contenders. Did Phoenix do enough to match the Nuggets or the Lakers? No one's even talking about the Warriors. Do not come up anymore at all.
But they would not be talking about the Warriors even if Jordan Poole was there. I don't think that's the difference.
Although there is, they're supposed to be hot on Drew Holiday and they have Chris Paul.
Yep.
So they're collecting guards for what that's worth. I don't know how that's going to stop Nikola Jokic. But this is kind of sad. It's kind of, I like Draymond a lot. Kind of a bummer that that's really going to be part of his legacy.
Well, we got a little bit more of the details there. We also got some more details on the Damian Lillard trade while we're here talking about the NBA. And one of the details, because it got really pretty ugly behind the scenes, that's clear. It got ugly between the Portland and Dame side. It got very frosty between the Blazers and the Miami Heat. Just a lot of bad feelings, quite frankly, and people accusing other people of not negotiating in good faith. But one of the details that's come out, Perloff, is that the Blazers definitely sat Dame Lillard at the end of the season for 10 games. When he was fully healthy, they blamed it on a calf strain. That was a lie. And they got a better draft position and were able to get Scoot Henderson ultimately because they lost all those games at the end of the season. Now, that's been like that came out. Chris Haynes of Yahoo got that detail. And Dame, was the one who told him this. Do you think the Blazers could now get in trouble with the NBA because there's so much about it, don't tank, don't tank?
Well, okay, I do think they could get in trouble. I mean, this is like saying before NIL, players in the SEC got money under the table. Like, duh, of course. Everyone knows the NBA does this. But to actually write it down in a message, that they deserve to get really punished for that. Because you do not do that. Don't they know how to tank properly?
I mean, not everyone can execute the process. Let's go to Scott. He's in California. Hey, Scott.
Hey, guys. This is Scott from California. I call myself Skull Scott with Skull in my soul.
We know it.
I know we're 0-3, but we took a lot of bashing last year for winning one-score games, and the 3 games we lost were one-score games. So Perloff, they should be erased, right? Even the Eagles game was 8 points, so arguably that's a one-score game. Anyway.
Wow, right, but luck eventually catches up to you, right, Scott?
Yeah, they do. They stay on the record, apparently. But we're going to turn it around. My purpose of my call is to congratulate you guys on the change. I don't know what radio hierarchy is, but it sounds like it's somewhat of a promotion. So good luck to you guys. I wake up a lot early times, so sometimes I'm up at 4 in the morning. So I'm going to try to catch you.
Great.
I'll try to catch you.
That's fantastic, Scott. Thank you so much. That's going to be our target audience now. We need people up at 4 a.m. on the West Coast.
You could be an early riser. You can be late to bed. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll be here for you.
We're not judging. So that is our big news for the week, which is that this is our last show in this time slot, 3 to 6 Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific. We are moving to the mornings. We're going to be right here on CBS Sports Radio. It's the same CBS Sports Radio stations, and in fact, we're going to be on a few more of them, which we're excited about. We're on the same Odyssey app. We're on Sirius XM channel 158. We're youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Same chat, same everything. And if you are up early, come find us. It's going to be the same vibe, and Maggie and Perloff doing our thing.
Absolutely. And also, too, whatever happens with this time slot, Zach Gelb, who many of you know is going to be filling in on Monday, and we'll see. But I think, Mike and Stu on the other side of glass, like, we all know each other well. I think that the CBS Sports Radio family is kind of tight-knit.
Yep.
We will be talking a lot of trash, and hopefully, we will see you. I mean, Stu, I assume, I don't know what time. You're always here when I get here, so you're here at, right, 10:05.
Yeah, like 10-something, yeah.
I was kidding. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So we'll see Stu.
Stu.
You'll see Stu.
Mike, on the other hand.
Stu, you can't quit us. And Mike, we're going to find a way to keep dragging you back in to our force field because we can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah.
For Samter and Stu, who are going to be staying in this time slot, as you mentioned, with Zach, who we think is awesome at what he does, and we're always in his corner. You guys are amazing. And we've told you this a few times, but this show doesn't get off the ground and then reach the next level. And I think we always kept climbing through this year and 3 quarters. And it's because of you guys. You were flexible. You were open-minded. You came with great ideas. Yeah. You're professional. And beyond that, you're fun to work with and professional. And when you get that kind of combination in your life, that's really special. And so you got to acknowledge it. And we appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, also, that's why Maggie has so generously been losing bets recently to you guys to provide food for the studio.
Yes, I like the good mom that I am, like feeding everybody. So to Mike and Stu, thank you guys. To the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers. I always felt you guys were secretly morning people. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. When you said 420 and making all those 420 jokes, I always felt like it was more like 4:20 a.m. Come along with us. You don't have to. You don't have to leave. You can be the Weedos and the coffee drinkers, as Jeffrey said. And the one thing I want to say to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers, I'm running out of time here, but in a YouTube chat, sometimes you're never sure what you're going to get.
Yeah.
The Weedos and the Purple Drinkers have always kept it so classy, and for the most part, so classy. You've always been so accepting of new people who joined onto the show. It never got weird. It never got feisty. It was always really above the fray, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And all listeners
Yes.
and all the people who see us on YouTube, stay with us. We're not going anywhere.
You never know what kind of Carson Wentz poster we might destroy. Also, quick thank you to Spike Eskin and to Chris Olivero, who gave us this great opportunity. We appreciate your belief in us. So that's going to be it for the afternoon edition of Maggie and Perloff. We'll see you guys in the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Radio.